All right, so 6:33 p.m. Tuesday, June 22nd, 2021. I'm going to call Board of Selectmen meeting to order. This meeting is being recorded and minutes are being taken by Gail Hunter. So this is a meeting with one agenda item, and that is to review the Board of Selectmen's letter to Mass Housing regarding the SLV, proposed SLV 40B project. A draft of that letter has been sent out, which we believe is the final draft of that letter has been sent out to board members. And we discussed this at our last meeting in some detail. It's been updated a little bit since we last spoke. I have received, or Greg and I have received an updated copy with comments from Ann Harrison. And what my plan is tonight, it's a 7-page letter, is for the board to go through this line by line and finalize it tonight in every respect. And it's my intent to print it and sign it tonight as well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to present my MS Word editing session. We'll go through this document, and that's about it. As far as members of the public are concerned, I am going to allow members of the public to make comments for minor editing suggestions and perhaps ask questions, but it will be limited. There will be no major revisions to this letter at this point. We've been through several rounds. We've taken significant input from multiple boards, multiple organizations. So this letter is pretty much in its final form at this point, just so you're aware. All right, so let's get going. As soon as I decide which exact window I'm gonna present to everybody.
Eli.
Yeah.
I just have a quick question for Greg, if I may.
Sure, go ahead while I find which of my thousands of windows I want to share with everybody.
Okay. Greg, I apologize for sending them 11th hour to you, but did you get the a few amendments that were just sort of typo kind of things?
So I have not incorporated those yet, Becky.
Okay, but yeah, because I've got some other suggestions, but I did email those little ones, and anyway, so I just wanted to make sure.
Yep. Yep.
Okay,
Thank you.
So,
thank you, Eli.
I'll be planning on live editing this document that people can see right now. I hope. Can all board members and Greg see this?
Yes.
Okay, good. So Becky, your comments will have to merge into this document tonight during this meeting. So I'm imagining it won't be too terribly difficult. I'm hoping.
Nope. Nope.
All right. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. I guess the best way is for us to simply, we've all read this document. I want to read through it again. I'm not going to read it out loud. I want board members to read through the first paragraph here. Tell me when they're done reading, including Ann's edits, and then we can just accept all the edits and move on to the next piece. How about that?
Eli, could you enlarge that just slightly? Is that possible?
Yes, I can actually. Is that better? More?
One more time. There you go. That's getting better.
Thank you. There we go.
And if I am scrolling back and forth during the conversation here, you all are going to have to make me stop, because that's going to be an absent-minded thing. I'll try not to do it.
set.
Eli, how do you want to handle comments?
Comments? If you have a comment, when you run into it, just write it down. When you get to the end of the paragraph, we'll take all the comments from the board.
Okay. Whenever you're ready.
I'm set.
The editing is, so when John says go, I'm gonna go. Oh, I hope John Round was in here. Yes, he is. Good, thank God.
I'm good.
All right. So is everybody good with these edits?
I have one to add.
Okay, tell me where.
Local project initiative, the language of the law, I believe, is local initiative project. LIP.
Oh, yep.
Eli, if we're hyphenating one Manchester by the Sea, should we hyphen both or all?
Yes, we should.
Actually, that was done deliberately because the sanctuary is hyphenated, and Greg writes it without a hyphen, and we don't need to make them parallel because it's SLV's mistake.
Okay, but up in our little, oops.
Oops, okay, fine. So yeah, fine. Okay, hyphens out everywhere then.
I agree.
And there's a space before the by in the
Fixed it.
the title line. No, the title line above
yeah.
Dear Mr. Bushby.
Manchester hyphen space by.
Yeah. Thank you. Members of the public, I'm going to take your comments at the end of the page. All right. Board members otherwise clear with the first paragraph?
Yes.
All right. Go ahead and start reading the second half of this page, and I'm going to start accepting comments. It's going to be very much a real-time operation.
There's an extra space after number 1 fails.
And is that just in terms of composition?
I tried to
R-
make the I tried to make the list parallel.
How about failures
No,
as opposed to
They're
our
all-
fails?
they're all verbs. Perhaps we should change the previous sentence to say, this project is,
No, I'm not. I think it's good to point out that the key aspects.
mhm.
Okay, all right. I see what you're saying.
Maybe are that it in the first line.
Mhm.
What
I mean,
was
it would
the-
have to be, yeah, are that it, and then the colon, right?
Are what?
Sentence, the key aspects which make this project inappropriate are that it, colon. I don't know that they should be capitalized, but
Yep, they should.
even though they're,
I wouldn't do that. I would say that the project.
Okay,
Yep, yep.
Yeah, are we going through this section now? Are we giving our comments?
Yep.
All right. The fifth point of degrading the environment is very clumsy. It's the only word I can think of. I'm sorry to put it out that way. In its writing, it kind of just runs on with lots of clarifying phrases that make the whole thing less clear. I realize that all the other statements are 1 or 2 sentences, but I think this needs to be broken up into much more clearly written English. This is from blasting at,
from massive blasting.
so
Could it just be degrades the environment, period?
no, no, I think it needs to point out what the arguments that are going to be forthcoming are.
Oh, I
Um,
agree. I'm not saying that, Jeff. I'm saying that after degrades the environment, then you say,
Oh, yeah.
just have, massive blasting on top to water, and then, on top of the hilltop, water quality controls involving municipal drinking water supply.
Okay,
Break those up into sort of,
How about,
That'd be semicolons then, is what you're saying, Becky? Just
Yeah,
one
yeah.
semicolon after
Yeah.
another.
yes, thank you, John.
okay. I would drop from massive blasting, I would drop of the, from massive blasting, the top 40 feet.
From massive blasting the top 40 feet.
Yeah. To water quality concerns, comma. No, water quality concerns, and just leave it at water quality concerns.
Yeah.
Because we're going to elaborate on how it contaminates drinking water.
Mhm.
So you want me to get rid of
Or to contamination, potential contamination of local water. I would just say water quality concerns and eliminate
Mhm.
all the rest of that up to runoff. Or water quality concerns from runoff. Leave the from runoff in.
Mhm.
Mhm.
that one.
Comma. After runoff.
Yep.
Take out and put in to.
After disposal system, comma, to protected vernal pools. I don't think you need the on-site or nearby, just, that,
So you need a comma after wastewater disposal system.
correct.
Well, but then he can argue that we wouldn't let him into the sewers.
No, his project proposal is to create a wastewater disposal system. That's what his
No,
proposal
I understand.
is.
I understand, Becky. But he could argue that we didn't let him into the sewers.
But we can't legally. We're not allowed to
well-
at this point in time.
Well, we don't argue that in the letter.
So
To an unvetted wastewater disposal system, because we don't have any of the engineering guides or anything else. He said he wasn't going to do that until he was approved for the project.
I think he has to do it for the ZBA, but
But yes, he does, but it's an unvetted on-site wastewater disposal system. We know nothing about it.
But that's not, that is not part of this point in the, what is the word? Process. I see what you're saying, Jeff. I don't have a problem with saying something along the lines of unvetted. I'm just not sure
How
unvetted
about
is the
to
proper word.
potential infiltration of local water supply by an unvetted wastewater disposal system?
But do you want to get into that now or later when we get into things? I mean, we're eliminating verbiage right now simply to just get the points made and then clarify and explain later on, further in the letter. Or do you think that that's such a big point that that should be made right at this point, right at the outset?
Well, it's there. If you want to keep anything about the wastewater disposal system, I think it needs to be clarified, because having a large wastewater disposal system is not in and of itself a bad thing. So either we take it out completely and just go to protected vernal pools. I think
No, I
that's
think it
probably
needs to
better.
be there. I think it needs to be there because when, you know, when anybody looks at the site, how he's going to get that system, he's going to have to do massive fill to support the system structurally. Anyway, okay.
Okay.
Is there another word besides unvetted though? It's just,
Undescribed,
Proscribed?
unknown.
how about
He could
unexplained?
say,
I mean,
he
we
could
don't
say,
know what it is.
here's the company, they're gonna do it.
Undefined.
Undefined sounds good, John. Eli, Greg,
I'll take undefined.
yep.
And then a comma after disposal system.
Is that supposed to be protected or is it supposed to be threatened? What's the point that's being made here?
Well, the sentence we've moved it around a little bit. So we,
I know. So the sense isn't quite, I'm not
Yeah.
sure protected is the
Why
right.
don't we just say vernal and
But
not,
there are some certified vernal pools, not on the site, but nearby.
Yeah, nearby.
Yeah.
so certified?
nearby certified vernal pools,
We can't say certified on site though, can we?
but we can say,
We cannot say certified vernal pools on site.
construction site. Greg, is that correct?
I thought there was one certified on site. Just double checking. Looks like it's a potential certified.
The ones on site or nearby, Greg?
No, there's definitely certified off-site nearby, but there are vernal pools on site that have
Right.
not been certified.
Well, let's go, how about with nearby certified?
Yeah, I'd put nearby, make that an adjective in front. You don't need to have that at the end there. Make it an,
I would just say vernal pools.
I would just say vernal, let's just say to vernal pools on site and nearby and keep out of the
Yeah.
certification argument.
I would agree.
Yep.
Okay?
Mhm.
So is this sentence where people want it?
Except you took away the capital F. Why'd you do that?
Because it's a colon.
Well, then you need to take away the capital T.
Or
about
put,
the
make it
proposal in
make
number
it a,
two.
No.
make it a period so that it's parallel with everything else
yeah.
and a capital F.
Then I would do the same up at overturns local zoning.
Yep.
Thank you.
Also, number 3, I'm not sorry, number 4 defies financial reality.
I did that.
Oh, yep, okay.
Okay, I think that that's fine.
All right, so that's page 1. And now, since we've hit the end of the page and everybody's on the board is good
All
with
right,
it.
I just have a question whether you need all of those commas in there in 5. I think when you go 2 and 2 and 2, you only need the comma after nearby. You don't need the other commas.
I think they're separating points, right?
Yeah.
Is that
but-
kind of
but-
emphasizing the separation or no?
It's a series of phrases. In
Well, then
that
you
sense.
put a comma after hilltop.
Oh,
Yep.
yeah.
Yes, yep. Way to go there, John.
No,
Yeah.
because that's from 2.
No, it's,
Okay,
Yeah, it's all right.
I'm fine.
Tell me if you got any more changes. Well, I'll just collapse from the top here.
Keep going.
okay.
Just at the very top, we'll need to get rid of draft and put a date in.
Yeah. Draft 2, goodbye. Where do you want the date?
I'd put it above his name.
That format?
Space between that and Michael.
No, ND.
No, ND.
And
Good.
Yep.
and then you need to right click on June 22nd and accept the change.
Yeah. All right, now, while I am going through accepting changes, Sandy had a comment, I think, on page 1. Sandy, go ahead and unmute yourself and speak.
Great, thanks. Sandy Rogers, 82 Old Essex Road. I have really a question regarding the overall format of the letter. That is everything presented in order of priority overall with these 5 issues and within the issues? I understand it's a concern that the mass housing actually reads everything. So I would think that making sure that priority items are visible up front is critical. And also have enough data points been added where it says water quality, making sure that it says drinking water, or that the water comprises 50% of the town's water supply. Key issues like that are very critical. So I just had a question regarding the order of things and the details with data points or appropriate descriptors.
So in terms of the order,
And especially when we get to some of the larger paragraphs later on, it seems, again, I think Jeffrey had a comment regarding some of the writing, making sure that key points are highly visible when someone starts that area and paragraph. I think it's really important.
so I think this section is pretty concise. And I think that if we went back and forth between board members and citizenry each collective would have a different priority for what is the
Mhm.
important thing here. So I don't think it's really critical for us to necessarily order these by some priority. They all are important. And I think we're not making an elevator pitch here. If we're, you know, if we were hanging our hopes on catching somebody's eye within the first 30 seconds on us on the reading of this, that'd be a pretty poor situation for the government to be in. So I'm not sure that I want to get into reorganizing the items here based on what we might think is a priority. Like we could argue about that for all night long. As for the details later on, when we get into details of the paragraphs later on, we'll certainly be reviewing.
I think it's important to keep that in mind when you're working on it. And
Yes.
of course, this would be like thinking about the critical things to make sure that they stand out. And of course, that's from the board's point of view versus the citizenry regarding what you think is going to be the most effective.
Yeah.
And that, you know, any data points are always good if you think they're strong, like the 50% water supply.
Andy, we're going to be getting into the details of some of these things later on. There are going to be a bunch of also large attachments from other organizations which we're referencing here, including some write-ups on water quality. So we're not going to cover all of these points in this letter, but we'll discuss them when we get down to the finer points. If we think there are any details that need to be added down there, we can, but I'd like to talk about that when we get down to those sections, not on this first page. If there's any comments specific to this first page, if not, I'd like to move on.
I think the specific comment is if there's anything, I think it's important on 5 regarding water quality, that whether it's drinking water or percentage of the town's water.
I actually think, Sandy, that that's a spot on concern that we should highlight, and it's not highlighted in the detail on number 5. I agree with you. The 50%, I think, is a very strong and important argument to make. It's not a peripheral part of our water supply.
Right. Okay, just thought I'd help. Thank you.
Thank you.
So Jeff, are you arguing that we should make an addition here or down?
No, I think when we get down into the details on 5, on page 35 of this letter,
43.
on the page that has the 5 details, that we should include in there 50% of our town water supply is impacted by any damage here.
All right.
And just overall thinking about within each section, that key elements don't get lost because they're embedded way within a paragraph, 4 paragraphs down within a section, just to sort of keep that in mind while you're going through something that I sort of noticed. So anyway, thank you.
Thank you, Sandy.
Hang on one second. I don't know, another comment from your name's not on your Zoom icon, sir. Was it Alan?
Yes,
You had a comment on this first page?
yes, just a very short comment. Alan Macmillan from I'm a member of I live in Rockport, member of the Rockport Conservation Commission for 34 years, and a
Okay.
weekly walker through the ME Woods. I just, on number 5, where it says some 20 plus waivers, that sentence alone rings alarm bells with the Massachusetts Wetland Protection Act. The most we've ever received for a waiver and I've been on the Concom for 34 years. that needs to be emphasized somehow, because that sentence alone could end this project. That's how important that is under the Wetlands Protection Act. There should never be 20 waivers requested in the Wetlands Protection Act. I'd just like to make that statement. And I like to thank all of you for the hard work you're doing. I'm so impressed that your town cares enough about this to get this actively involved. And I would like to also remind everyone there that the developer said that he couldn't do.
Alan, I
Yes.
need you to stop now.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. Moving on to the second page. We didn't catch the bullet item or an item number 6 in our last edits. I think we're going with periods here. Everybody good with the changes on this one?
Mhm.
All right, let's start down into, well, let's read and cover all of what's on section 1 on this page. Actually, yeah, let's,
When we,
so here we're getting to the details of item 1, and I wonder if board members want to process all of item 1, reread it again, and then discuss it now, or do you want to hit it by paragraph by paragraph? How would you prefer to do this?
take them in chunks.
Paragraph by
agree.
paragraph is good.
All right.
Yep.
So first paragraph, this one here.
The extra space in the last sentence.
I don't think it needs to say meets these principles in these ways. I mean, it fails to meet these principles.
I think in these ways is important because they are, in fact, a list of the ways in which it fails. It's not a narrative.
I
You want
get
to put a
that.
colon? You want to put a colon after that, Ann?
Sure, why not?
All right, so that they know where a listing's coming, and it's in the forms of paragraphs, but there are, I don't know, 10 paragraphs.
So in the following ways instead of in these ways.
Well, that's where we were at before, yeah. Or it follows was the word. Yeah.
And
colon,
going back,
And that would be a colon at the end of that.
colon.
Yep.
and are we leaving we're beyond number 1, mass housing sustainability development principles unmet, colon? Didn't we change that in the other part, or are we going to
Sure.
now? I'm just wondering, I think, I don't know if, I mean, that's just semantics, I suppose, but
That's consistency.
Yeah.
yeah, that's what thank you, Greg.
What if we took out unmet and underlined mass sustainability development principles?
I like unmet. I think I
Yeah,
like
that's-
emphasizing that they're not met.
It
That
defines the
comes in the
problem.
very first sentence.
Okay,
I
how
know,
about
but
how about no mass housing sustainable development principles met?
either one. I just want it left there, I think, for emphasis. John?
Yeah, I'm looking at that and I'm wondering, I mean, that is not a sentence. It's just kind of a statement and it's more or less a heading.
Yep.
And I'm
Right,
looking
which
at
the
all
others
of
were
the
too,
other
like,
entries.
you know.
And as I look through the letter, And people need to know where they are in this letter because frankly, it's very long. So I would put that whole thing in capitals.
Okay.
Mass housing sustainability
If we're gonna do,
principles.
What happens that follows though, John, is that things are underlined.
What do you mean? What's underlined? There are a few
Concentrated
underlined.
development and mixed use. Advanced equity.
Yeah, but at least people know that the capitalized, phrases for after numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 are the sections that follow that first page. That first page is kind of like a summary of what's going on here. So I just think it's clearer if we had this all in caps so that people know where they are as they kind of flip around through the many pages here.
Okay, I
I'm
would agree
fine with
with
that.
I would agree with you to capitalize it or bold it, as long as starting with claiming credit, et cetera, gets indented. Because this all,
That's
Yeah,
okay. Yeah,
Yep,
that's,
I think so
that's
too.
okay.
I get your point, John, and I think you're right. It differentiating aspects, I think, will help keep, not that we hope the letter content keeps his attention, but
Yes.
doing the indentation and the capitalizing, I think, is helpful to underscore.
Yeah. We may have to do a little wordsmithing. I see number 4 probably has to be redone, but we'll get there. But that's the only one. The others are pretty much the 5 or 6 words that really are the words that were on the first page.
Well, it's not bad. We're doing about 40 minutes or 30 minutes a page, so
Okay.
we're getting there.
yeah, that's only 2.5
Checking the
hours.
clock. Do the math
Two and
on
a half
that.
hours.
That's a long time.
So so what was the conclusion then on this?
Okay, capitalize that first 5 words.
Can we bold it rather than capitalizing it?
I'm okay with that too, but it's got to have some sort of
And the idea was to capitalize every letter, not just.
yeah. Yes, that's correct.
So
every
I
letter.
think just
Correct.
bold that sentence, that phrase.
I'd be okay with that.
Or you could capitalize mass sustainability development principles, and then in regular text, are unmet.
I like the whole thing bold. I think that's.
Yep.
I like the unmet being integrated into the mass housing sustainability development principles. I just.
So you want that unmet capitalized still?
Yes,
And do you want the period bolded too?
Yeah, the period has to be. That's very important.
Eli, that's up to you. You make that decision. It's your last big one, huh?
Who said are unmet? I think that probably makes a little more sense.
That are?
Okay.
then it needs to be lowercase for are and unmet.
Yep,
How about are not met?
either one.
Last chance are.
Are not met.
That says ew. I kind of like the ew, but
Okay.
You guys are happy with this now?
Yep.
Thank God. All right. That first paragraph. We're moving on to this paragraph.
We'd like it indented,
Well, the whole thing.
the whole
under one.
paragraph.
Yeah, the whole thing of all of those paragraphs.
As in that
Yep.
way?
yep.
Yeah.
Well
can do
done,
that at the
Eli.
end or
Mad
whatever.
skills.
He's a real good word guy.
I know. I know who to call if I need help, which is always.
Under view.
Okay.
All right. So content of this paragraph.
So just so you know, the underlined words are pulled directly from the mass
Yep.
housing principles.
So we'll leave those alone.
So I have a quick question. So it's concentrated development and mixed It doesn't have uses.
The uses should be
Isn't part
underlined.
Okay,
And capitalized. Craig,
Yes.
Yeah, but uses should be capitalized. Yep.
Oh my God.
now that we gave you all these compliments, huh?
Yeah.
Now I don't know, I just kind of wonder, when it says is a stretch at best, is at best is a little, I find it a little sarcastic, and I'm not sure that I think, what does everyone else feel about that?
I think it's very good.
It's kind of colloquial.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's better than is ridiculous.
Oh, we can go on and on. I have a thesaurus right nearby.
Okay.
Okay, with that
Next
paragraph.
Yeah,
This one here.
I would like to add a word at the end of that second paragraph after diverse. I would say diverse and affordable. Affordable is a very key word for this group, and I think we should use it.
okay. For consistency and style, in the previous paragraph, development should be capitalized.
Yep.
Advance and equity should be capitalized.
Except, Greg, this was pulled directly from the quote.
Well, nor is it reflective of, is not in their standards.
All right, so you want that?
So advance equity is the only thing that should be underlined. Is that correct?
No, making efficient decisions should be underlined as well.
Okay.
And capitalized.
Really?
Making efficient, that's some of the.
Yeah, I understand it's language of the, but
Oh,
is
no,
it
no, no, Ann,
capitalized in the,
It's a heading in their document.
okay.
Well, it's part of their sentences. It's not actually capitalized in the document.
I'm looking at their document. Yeah, it's section number 3 is make efficient decisions. Capital M, capital E, capital D.
Okay.
And advanced equity is capital A, capital E. But, they're not being used in sentences, and we're putting them into sentences here.
I think it's fine to leave them capitalized.
Yeah.
It makes a point. They know their standards. It makes a point.
And they
for
know
them.
that, right, and we're putting those standards in as exclamation points.
Okay,
So you want these as capitalized?
it's all right.
Yeah,
It's
good.
All right.
I like attempted. You put that in, Ann?
Probably.
Nice. At the bottom, the last sentence where it says, yes, the town needs more needs. Would it matter if we said needs and wants? I mean, we want, and we're also trying that. We're trying to get more affordable housing and diverse housing.
Board members okay with that?
I don't think we need, we need it. We talk after in another place about wanting it and what we're doing about wanting it.
Okay,
If you want to say that, if rather than saying needs and wants, needs and plans for, and has
or
plans
is
for.
planning for.
Mm.
Yeah, has plans for. That's, yes.
Oh, my
But
typing.
that kind of screws up the last phrase.
Okay, you're right. Okay.
Just leave
Um,
it, I just leave it as it is. I think let's not
Mhm.
get too wordy here.
Okay.
'Cause
Eli,
we're
while
pretty-
you're
we're pretty
cleaning
wordy.
up, back up at mixed uses, uses needs to be underlined. Second paragraph.
Second, oh, thank you. Other than that, people are okay with this paragraph?
Yes.
Yep.
Moving on to this one.
You took out the anyways. That's good.
Hmm.
I could think about the last sentence in the previous paragraph, the despite paragraph, as, but not in this location under this proposal. In this manner is such a vague phrase.
Yep. And not in
Or
this
as
location,
proposed, Dan.
And as proposed.
That's fine.
as proposed by SLV.
Well, maybe just in this location, period.
No, because that's NIMBY.
That's to say, we want another 200 unit place someplace else, and that's not
Why
necessarily
the
the case.
developer rather than SLV?
I think we said,
Of course it's SL. I wouldn't put that in. Just say and as proposed, period. They know what we're talking about.
Okay.
And actually, to clean up the language, I would take out and.
Jeff, then you're separated. Then you're marrying the location and the proposal together.
That's what they are.
Well, that's correct. But
I
think
agree,
that
because it's not in this right, but I agree with John. I think they need to be separated
Separate, because both
it's
of them
not
stand-
just as proposed in this location.
So, but
It's
as
in this
proposed in another
location.
location, we would have, we would have opinions even in another location, perhaps. We don't want to exclude that.
do you want this back?
Yes.
I'm fine with that.
Mhm.
I yield.
And back into this paragraph.
Mhm.
Good with that?
Yep, I am.
That's great. That was clean. There was nothing. We're
And
making
then-
progress.
For us, that's this paragraph. This gets capitalized. One of these days.
Did we not say somewhere else that as opposed to an entire hilltop? Because an entire hilltop is not, I think 40 feet of hilltop. We need to, I know we go into it a little bit further down, but even here,
So 40 feet
entire
of hill. So blasting away 40 feet of hilltop.
40 feet of hilltop,
40
comma,
feet of hilltop ledge.
and should we say, the acreage that encompasses? I know we do later, but I just think that being specific, because first of all, hilltop is not, can be something not much, but 40 feet of hilltop ledge.
I'd take out the in order to.
Mhm.
Rather in order, just blasting
just-
hilltop ledge to create.
Yep.
Okay. And I'd also, the next to last word, I don't think you need to say intensive use, just say intense use.
I like intense.
Yeah, no, intense stays there. It's
Ah.
not a use, just, it's an intense use. So
I
intense
think
For
it
this-
is intense. It is a use. I think it is intense a use. Because it's changing
for
the,
this intense, does, it,
for this
there
intense
isn't
use,
a, you need a noun.
that's the noun, use.
Okay,
right, but it's changing, it, by having the A in there,
That
changes.
is, sounds like
Okay.
awkward English.
I was fine with AUs, but if folks want
mhm.
I
Not
like a
strongly
use in there.
personally, I like it.
Now,
the
do
way
we
it is.
need, I do too.
Fine.
Good with this paragraph?
Yeah,
All right, this next paragraph spills onto the next page, but we're gonna take it all at once and not stop in the middle of the sentence. Everybody okay with that idea?
Yep.
There we go. Oops.
Rather than populations, how about people?
mm-hmm.
I'd also kind of put a comma after transit right there.
People okay with that?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and put a comma after transit.
And while I agree with the fact that it's completely out of character for our small New England town, I don't know if that's a reason for denial. I like that it says no other building comes close in scale, etc. But I just don't, I kind of think that's, it sounds a bit snobby.
Well, I would say no other residential building. There are buildings that are that large, like the schools, but
No,
Oh, I agree.
The two
Is the-
schools
I
together
agree.
are smaller than this. Both schools
Correct.
together are smaller
But
than this
that-
project.
Right,
So-
but that I don't think, it's just, it's a massive building, but in terms of it being completely out of character with our small New England town, I just don't, I don't see that that needs to be in there. But if everybody else likes it, I'm fine with it staying in. I just kind of think it has a bit of a,
I like it, but I don't think it's persuasive.
Okay,
no,
so
they're not going to care about that.
what about with residents who are isolated from the core of our small
From
New
the-
England town?
From this,
Yeah,
I think, I'm afraid small New England town.
how about just say the site is
Little tweak.
isolated? I agree.
Are
It's
residents, no, I want to emphasize residents here though, Becky. That's why I'm bringing this word in.
Jeff, I do too. I'm just saying eliminate out of character with our small New England town. That's the only part I don't want in there. I think we need to say, yes, it's isolated. It's away from transit. It's away from schools. It's away from groceries. It's away from the heart of the town.
Yeah, so completely isolated from the town.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you've already said isolated once.
Can
So you
we
could
just
start with
say,
the site is away from transit, which is one of the expands housing opportunities criteria. And isolates residents
Period.
from the
Yeah.
activity, from the commercial
Just say,
Just say
center of
isolate
our town.
residents, period.
yeah, I say isolates the residents.
Isolates the residents from the rest of the town.
Mhm.
So under this expands housing opportunities, their goals talk about building homes near jobs, transit, and where services are available.
Right. And this is not. So can we take that sentence and put it in quotations and say this site does not, and then put in that sentence in quotations?
Yeah, this project does not build homes near jobs, transit, or where services are available.
Right.
Just
Great.
quote their standard.
Yep. And then we can go on to say that no other building in Manchester comes blah, 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 blah.
It does say further on, the next sentence is foster the development of housing, particularly multifamily and single-family homes, in a way that is compatible with the community's character and vision with
Okay.
providing housing. So
Can we
their
cut, can
standard
we,
says it needs to be in keeping with our character.
well, then we should say that and quote them, that it's not in keeping with the character. I think to say our small New England town is not, we just say it's not in keeping with our character.
Yeah,
Again,
that's
can
fine.
we,
Yeah.
Town
can we
character.
just quote that? Can we quote that sentence?
Can I lead here with this site is away from transit? Does not provide housing, and then using the phrase that Greg just gave.
Yep.
Near
Jobs and where services are available.
jobs and available services.
Where services are available.
I would quote, yeah, I'd stick as close to what theirs are, their wording is. If
Does
not, just,
does not provide housing. You got the does and the not.
Provide housing.
Near
Jobs.
Near jobs and where services are available.
And
available services.
And available services. Thank you.
Why not quote it?
I want to quote,
yeah.
I think we need to quote it. I think it
Yeah.
should be in
Because
quotation
then
marks.
they think we're not doing our homework and we're just quoting them.
I don't think so. I think it shows that we know that that's why it doesn't fit the needs, and that we've the opposite, Jeff, that we have done our homework, which is how we know it doesn't suit. But I don't know. What does anybody else think?
I think the idea of these is we reference the section that we're referring to, right?
Mhm.
And if we paraphrase within here, I think that that's probably sufficient.
Okay.
I would like to take out small New England and just say with our town.
Yes.
So as to
you could-
detweetify it.
Right.
Other housing in our town.
I think it's just,
Okay, so
Well,
the
I think-
schools are ugly, but that,
well,
I'm
that's
trying
a
to
matter
get,
of
I'm trying to
opinion.
get close to their language, but not engage.
It's
the
not
dread-
plagiarism.
The dreaded NIMBY.
okay.
All right.
So I think we might want to add a sentence here that says it is inconsistent with our vision of providing new housing choices for people of all means, which is a
As oppo-
direct quote.
Right, you mean as
The,
opposed
the
to
next
complete,
sentence, the project is incompatible with our plan and counter what our,
Well, this is
And
specifically.
you're right, and I would take out other housing in, because the next sentence does deal with it. I'm sorry, I read that and then I didn't jump back to it. So I jumped that out. I'm sorry, Eli.
All right.
Um,
So then we're focusing now on this sentence. And is there a proposal to add a clause to it or a sentence to it, Greg?
No, it's fine.
No, that's fine. That's fine. That's fine.
And people okay with the last sentence?
yes,
Yeah,
Yep.
Okay, that's page 2. Members of the public, any comments for this page here so far?
I think we put everybody to sleep.
Oh yeah, this is gonna be just a thriller of a
as a
everybody here, I'm sure.
snoozer.
and they're on the edge of their seats.
Yeah. That's because they're getting ready to fall off. All right.
I don't think so. I think this is
Uh,
great. I do.
So I believe that we are indenting along the way here, right?
Mhm.
Yeah,
Mhm.
And here we go. So if we are following,
It should be capital provide, et cetera.
yeah. I'm gonna scroll a little bit so we have more of this page in hand.
Eli,
Yeah,
can you click on the layout menu up top? Oh, okay. I was looking for change case. Because that would help you. You could just swipe the whole thing and put it into
Capital case.
first word capital
Mhm.
all the way across.
yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, if this were Emacs, I would do that. It's not.
I have a change, Eli, in the 5th sentence that starts with in fact, comma, the developer resist. Oh, you've got it. Even modest measures. Okay, never mind.
I'm wondering about the word single owner car, which is kind of an interesting choice of words. I just say automobile.
Or private car.
Yeah,
Oh, I like private car. Or private automobile.
Car is shorter.
Mhm.
Yeah, but private car says to me like an Uber.
I was gonna say, it sounds
yeah,
like it.
that's,
Okay.
yeah, this is
Okay.
like a car for hire.
hmm
So I just, a car or automobile, I think private,
Personal rather than private.
maybe, it might be, it could be personal, it could be an Uber, but I think you just want to be general on this and say, you got to use a car one way or the other to get there.
Yeah,
It's not necessarily personal. They may not own a car, in which case they've got to use an Uber, but
I think personal automobile is the only choice there, really.
Well, private car is Uber
Mhm.
private car is Uber.
and Lyft.
Mhm.
And Lyft.
Okay, private. Sorry.
Comma after boat.
I was wondering about that, if it's boat or boat rapid transit.
No, it's
Boat.
Yeah.
And does there need to be a comma after bicycling before the and?
That's optional, and we've done, and several other places, the next to last item in the list did not have a comma after it.
Has
so I
not
just
been.
said-
I don't
Okay.
want to get into the Oxford comma argument.
Yeah, yeah, and that, it
Can
can
we,
go either way, but you've just got to be uniform, and right now, we're not putting a comma in, so.
Yes,
can we
Okay.
put in a sentence that starts with the town under its complete streets policy, under its existing complete streets policy, so they don't think that we put this policy in after the negotiations?
Good. But then we've got existing sidewalk.
Extend the town sidewalk further up School Street.
Mhm.
So take out its existing and put in the town.
Yeah.
Right before sidewalk below.
Oh,
So, yep.
Yep, town sidewalk.
Okay, is town sidewalk capitalized there, and then the last word in the sentence, it is not?
Yeah, it's a
What are we doing
different,
with town?
because the town, right, is the possessive of sidewalk, whereas it's not on.
Well, I don't know, if possessive is,
No, I see what John's talking about is consistency with
Yeah,
town,
you're right
town,
there.
town. It shows up 3 times in the sentence. I would make the town sidewalk lowercase.
yeah.
And in the initial one, it's the town administration, government, etc.
At the end, we could search for town and see what we've done here. Because in the sentence up above, it says the town under its existing complete streets policy.
That's the same sentence.
Yeah, it's the same sentence, and it's a little funky with the town sidewalk and the town.
Do what you like. I'm becoming agnostic on that.
It's the town will extend its sidewalk.
The sidewalk.
Okay, the sidewalk, fine.
okay, we're moving on. This
Yeah.
paragraph.
I like that one.
Indent.
Ah,
That one's pretty straightforward.
Good.
Okay. The few jobs is plural, so the apartment complex, running the apartment complex are.
Yeah, you're right. Increase, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
good.
Good.
Yep.
So both of the underlined phrases have to be.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yes or no on the,
Lowercase.
on the or the O, right?
Mm-hmm.
Correct.
Increased job and lowercase and, I think we're close enough to consistent.
Was that a request for an edit or?
No. That's noting that we have not capitalized worker
Yes.
words.
Yeah.
What are the many more opportunities aside from a solar array on top of the building?
Well,
Solar
it
array-
is the highest point. It could be, they could do a wind turbine perhaps.
Not in this town. Well,
You know
actually,
what?
yes. You won't have to pay attention to the laws.
Maybe we ought to say other
know
rather
that
than
one
many
well.
more.
They couldn't under a lot of different aspects of town regulations, for sure.
Yeah.
Yep,
We-
yep.
We could say state, many more opportunities to advance the state's goals of maximizing energy efficiency and supporting.
I don't,
Mhm.
I understand, Greg. I don't want to complicate that. I just think we need to be careful about overextending our reach.
Okay. Could we just take
missing-
out the-
It is missing more opportunities. Just take
Yeah,
out many.
just more or other opportunities.
Or
Yeah, that's
other,
fine.
yeah.
But, many, I can't put a list of 10 to 20 things down there.
Or how
Oh,
about just
I mean,
say
they-
it
they
is
probably-
missing
Just missing
opportunities.
opportunities.
Yeah,
Right.
but I mean, ground, what's it called? Geothermal.
Mhm.
Right.
Where are you going to get geothermal?
Yeah,
You're gonna drill down for it.
There's rock right there. Quite a
We
lot.
just
Yeah.
talked about, we don't want them to disturb the natural environment.
Drilling is
Can
less
we-
better than blasting. Anyway,
Can
Go
we
ahead.
just take out many more?
Yeah, I agree.
Take out.
I would just
Many
take out many.
I'd take out many more if we're gonna take out others.
fine.
Good.
Yep.
Next paragraph.
I would, at the last sentence, I'd break that into two sentences where it says mass housing should disregard. I'd make that an additional sentence. So period after planning and take out the word and. Nope, wrong place. Below,
Before mass housing.
before mass housing.
That one
The last
Right.
statement is a strong statement, should stand alone. It doesn't need to be part of a compound
Mhm.
sentence.
Mhm.
Could we put in not far away on the fringe? Something that emphasizes that point that it's not near the existing community center.
So not far from.
near.
the river.
No, leave it. And I would take out the comma.
Yep.
Take out the comma.
I
Yeah.
think so.
No.
Hmm,
Uh,
I think it's there.
yeah, I think the comma's there. Is that
Yeah.
what you did?
And
think the-
here where it says I'd leave the comma, where it
Okay.
says the project proposes threats to town drinking water supplies. Again, I would reiterate to the headwaters of 50% of the towns, or, approximately 50%.
No, just to 50% of the town's drinking water supply.
And then capitalized towns, apostrophe S, of the town drinking water supplies or the town's drinking water supply.
Either one will do.
Take out
Okay.
that and just have of town drinking water supplies.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
Supply,
That way.
yeah.
And you could perhaps, Becky, put in parentheses after supplies,
I think it's good.
Cedar Swamp is a feeder into Sawmill Brook, which provides half of the town's drinking water through a
Right.
well system.
Now I think we're getting into the enclosures.
Mhm.
That's pretty
Yeah.
detailed.
Where we
Hang
go?
on, Eli.
Sorry,
Where are we?
right here.
Mhm.
You want me to add to this then?
No,
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 no.
Okay. Good,
Yes, and I would not indent this last paragraph.
right.
right.
right. This paragraph good?
You want to make bold that first sentence, the first 8 words or whatever it is.
On what?
Mm.
Oh, I was referring to this one. Good with this paragraph?
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah. No, that we're okay with that.
All right.
I have
So-
one question, and again, on that one, it's just where it says, we're not asking for anything more than the objective application of mass housings. And I'm wondering, could we use another phrase other than application, since SLV is the applicant? Does that mean, how about the objective, objectivity of mass housing or something? Or do we just leave it?
Here? Or where?
The word application before of mass housing. I'm just,
Mm.
maybe I've just found,
If you want to change it to, I understand the confusion. You might say assessment.
What's the problem with application?
You're applying
it,
those.
Yeah, you're applying their principles
uh,
to the
They're-
application.
yeah, they're
Okay.
tenants. It's
right.
really not bad.
I got that. Okay, never mind.
You could change
Okay.
it to more than objectively applying.
Well, that's what I was wondering, but I don't, if everybody's happy with it as it is, then don't change.
Okay.
Okay,
Now you take out the.
sorry about that.
I like the.
Mhm. I do too, if we're gonna leave it as
Yeah, I
is.
like that too.
Yeah. Okay,
All right, so we're okay with that sentence there, ending section 1.
Mhm.
mhm.
Do we
So,
underline sustainability development principles?
Um,
Yes. Since we did all the others.
Or put them in bold, as we did previously, I think.
I think the others we just had capitalized and underlined.
Yes,
Yeah,
but
we
this is
should.
the overarching set of principles.
Yeah.
Is that
Maybe bold and underline,
On the first page.
on the first page, we're using them as headings.
right here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, actually, go way up at the top.
No, it's right here, John. It's right,
There. All right. Well,
right at
number one. Well, number one, the
Oh,
first
there.
number one I was looking at. Go up a little more. And what did we do to that? Right there, 1. Mass housing sustainability develop. It's in a sentence, and that's the way it looks.
right. But when we get into it, we bolded it. So as we exit, do we want to bold it?
We
No,
didn't.
I think you have to treat them, both of them, the same way.
No, the bolding was really to make this section.
To make it, it was because it was the heading, not because it was sustainability development principles,
Okay,
because it was part of a heading.
all right,
So we leave it as it is. So
all right.
Or are we underlining it? No?
No,
no, we're not doing anything.
no,
Okay, okay.
So then am I
Now,
underlining
can I make a
No.
suggestion for process, Eli?
Yeah,
That we take public comment on everything in number 1?
yeah, that's what I was just about to do.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Yep. Sandy, you had your hands up.
Yeah, this was just a suggestion. You were working on the transportation. Due to its isolated location and being perched on a steep hilltop, the only option is personal transportation. You might have motorcycles, whatever, but it's really focusing on personal transportation. So it might make that cleaner.
Yep.
Yep,
Yep, that's a
I
good
agree.
point. Yep,
Or a bicycle, or whatever.
yep, just
Not a
personal
bicycle.
transportation.
Down, Eli, top of the next page. Where we had personal automobile.
So it says, after on a steep hilltop, the only option is personal transportation.
But it says the only transportation option.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
so
you're
rearrange
saying
that.
personal transportation, so you can just say the only option is personal transportation.
Right.
Yeah.
Right,
I think automobile is more clear, but
Yeah, but it's just right. Could be a motorcycle. I mean,
yeah, well. It could be.
So the personal transportation is the only option.
yeah, I like it, on a steep hilltop, the only option is,
No, I like
Personal.
Ann's language.
First,
okay,
honestly, only yeah.
Due
The
to its
personal
isolated
option.
location and being perched on a steep hilltop, personal transportation is the only option.
So you
Mhm.
put a comment there, yeah.
mhm,
And the other question is sustainability does not have to do with resource sustainability. That's in another section.
Mhm.
yeah.
Yes, it is. Yeah.
That's what I thought. Yeah. Thank
mhm.
you.
Thank you, Sandy.
Thank you, Sandy.
Mhm.
All right. Moving on to item 2.
Mhm.
Yep,
All righty. So this we're treating as bolded, including
Mhm. And probably capitalize local and zoning.
and probably hour.
And dump hour.
Huh?
Isn't this phrase from their standards?
No.
No, this is, we're off their
We're
standard.
done. This is our own
Okay.
language.
Why don't we just take out the or on general principles? Who else's local zoning would we care about?
Yeah.
I
really-
like that.
I would take out the or in front of LCD and put an open parentheses.
Are you okay with this change?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
mhm.
Sorry, go ahead, Jeff. Take out the,
Housing production plan is actually what that's called.
Yeah, singular.
I would take out at the end of the next sentence, I would take out the or in front of LCD
Mm-hmm.
and open parentheses.
Two levels of parentheses?
Yeah, we got 2
How
levels
about-
of parentheses there.
How about just a
Where's the-
slash?
Oh,
We don't even need the LCD. Oh, okay,
Okay.
yes.
Yep.
Actually, take out the initial parentheses at that, before the hence. Put in a comma. And after limited commercial district, open parentheses, LCD.
Yep. But the period has to go outside of that, right?
you got it.
Oh, nicely done.
Eli's really fast.
He is.
And very patient.
That we know.
Is that a double space? Never mind.
What, after the period?
After natural areas period. Yeah.
Yeah, there is a double space there. I'm one of those people.
Actually, Word at the end of sentences automatically provides an extended space for a single space. But go ahead.
And isn't it principal, not principal, principal, under towns, principal drinking water well?
Oh, it is. I got the wrong one.
Well, the principal might drink
No,
it
that should,
too,
that
but
should be AL.
Yeah.
Mm-mm.
that's-
It should be AL.
Mhm.
I'm scrolling up a little bit here. So are people good with this first paragraph?
Take out the in front of high density.
Mhm.
Either the or an A to grant high density residential use. Oh, okay. I guess it works.
All right, good.
Mhm.
I don't think that period needs to be there. Needs to be there.
Mhm. I would take out the parentheses.
Yeah. Uh,
Comma, development, comma, not including.
Hanging particle.
Mhm. Should we emphasize the word not including this parcel? And as opposed to this proposed 40B? I don't, no,
No,
okay.
I'm wondering whether the last sentence in this paragraph adds something.
I do like that because it does, it can potentially thwart real efforts towards affordable integrated housing.
The last part of the sentence, okay, but the first part is kind of redundant.
I think that we take that sentence and reduce it to this proposed 40B project is counter to these efforts.
Yep.
And then
Well-
wipe the rest of that sentence out.
You don't want to say just the opposite of this. I don't think that
Mhm.
adds a whole lot
It's,
there.
it's a little bit weak when you use this.
Mhm.
So
How about-
is counter to these efforts is my suggestion. And
Mhm.
take it, yeah. And
That's fine. And I would like to
Mhm,
leave new
mhm.
efforts we're pursuing, or maybe take out the new.
yeah,
Mm-hmm. Yep. Do we want to include, though, that the example of what one
What?
landowner is wanting to do over there?
yes.
Okay,
It's a different use. It's
I
an
get
integrated
that.
use,
All
which
right.
is in
So I would take out these and put currently between we and are. To efforts we are currently pursuing.
I don't know. We need that last phrase to begin with. I mean, that's what we set up on top. We're talking with this guy.
Where? Where do we say it?
Landowner is working with the town on plans. That's what he's doing. So we're currently talking with him.
So just this and these efforts and cause.
These efforts, I would just say these efforts, period.
I think you're right. Oops.
Yeah, because we have pursuing in the previous sentence.
Yeah.
Yep.
Good.
Good.
Mhm.
All right. Item number 2 is done. Any members of the public with comments on item number 2 here? All right. 3. We have no heading here, unless we want to turn this into a heading. For consistency, we should, like the
Yep.
first sentence.
Mhm.
Yep. We got to turn it into a heading here.
Right.
When was the Affordable Housing Trust funded?
No.
Starting in 17, I believe, 2017.
And is that when the trust was,
It was established in 16, and I think the following year we started funding it.
So we should, but it's good to note that the trust was started,
No,
Yeah.
so
several years ago. Yep, good.
So I don't know, does the heading going to say diversification of Manchester's housing stock?
Mhm.
Doesn't need
Yes.
to. It reads better as a sentence.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But we could just leave it as a sentence and that's fine.
Yeah. I would like to consider voters approved the creation of the Affordable Housing Trust in 2016 and have been providing substantial funding since then.
I think you're right, Ann. I would say since its
Mhm.
inception in 2016 and end the sentence and don't put in anything else about it.
Yeah, so all you have to do is at the very end, Eli, put since its inception in 2016.
Oh, no, he's done it fine.
Okay.
He's put in
Since
2000.
its inception, period.
Taken its inception in there.
Mhm.
Yeah, the bottom line in that whole paragraph is that Mass Housing will point to our SHI and say, you don't show this on your SHI.
Mhm.
Say that again.
I mean, I'm thinking about counters to all of this. And they will say, this doesn't show on your sustainable housing inventory.
You could say, we anticipate updating our SHI soon with these new
Mhm.
products.
Mhm.
Let's keep it out of it. Let's keep it out of there.
Mhm.
Why?
I mean, it's addressed in the next paragraph.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah,
leave it
yeah,
there.
that's true. Yep, okay.
You might end that paragraph with, we will update our sustainable housing inventory.
This one?
Imminently.
I imminently doesn't. Why don't
Right.
we've said that they're deed restricted to serve low income residents. It would be nice. At some point I guess the first paragraph is fairly clear that the project that the Affordable Housing Trust is involved with is large and complicated and isn't going to happen overnight. But
I think it's very thin ice to say that this 29 unit complex
Mm.
will be 100% deed restricted to serve low income residents.
It will be at some point. We just
Is it-
don't know when.
It could be
Is
years.
expected to be.
But it is good because it's being done by North Shore CDC. It's at least according to Mickey, every unit will be.
Yes,
Um,
but he has no plan for that. He doesn't have a specific adoption
Last-
plan other than vacancy.
well, he does. He does. Have you spoken with him recently, Jeff?
Not since before the negotiations ended with SLV.
Okay, I think perhaps we might want to, because I would leave that it's going to be 100% deed restricted.
Would you be happy with changing the will be to is anticipated to be?
Yes, yes.
no, I think if we believe what we voted for, what not what we voted for, but what I think it will be. I mean, it's not now, but unless North Shore CDC decides to go back on its word, it will eventually be 100% deed
Right.
restricted.
Right, but from MHA's point of view and from the SHI's point of view, that eventually may be years.
That's true, and
But it will be.
will
It
be.
will be.
Yeah, they will
Sorry,
certainly
Ann.
look at that and say, will be is not is.
Right.
But I think that it's a good point to make, and I think it's well stated.
All right, so we leave out any reference to the SHI then.
Yeah.
Mhm,
Mhm.
mhm.
A
I think
hyphen
so.
between 29 and unit, Eli.
The copy says restricted to serve low-income residents. Is that a definition, or, because we're dealing with affordable housing, but I'm not sure low-income residents, if that's a different definition.
Well, you can put it back in as what was in there before, which was below 60% AMI.
I don't think we should
Um,
get into percentages. We should just say it's affordable housing, whatever the cutoff is. it is.
Restricted to affordable housing.
Right.
Right,
I just
Restricted
leave it
to
at that.
housing affordable tenants. No.
No,
Uh,
leave it the way it is. I mean,
I think so too.
I-
Yeah.
Is low income resident, is low income, that's a definition for housing. And I'm worried about when you say low income residents, that's for low income housing.
Oh,
That's the concern that I have,
I see.
you know, because
Yeah,
low income
okay.
is a different category of housing.
You're right.
So
You're right.
if I just say affordable housing, we know what the story is, and there's some leeway there. 80,
100%
60,
deed
50.
restricted to affordable housing.
Right,
Yep.
All right.
mhm.
okay,
Yep.
It's
Good.
But
all right. Second thing, I would put in a parenthetical phrase at the end of this paragraph that says, note the Manchester Affordable Housing Trust letter. That is one of the attachments here and is not referred to anywhere else in this letter,
Mhm.
yet it is an attachment,
Mhm.
and it does
Well,
address this.
Well, shouldn't that go to the paragraph above then?
No,
And not-
because the above is the planning board letter, and that's the broader program. The Affordable Housing Trust specifically has a paragraph that deals with this. The planning board letter does not.
yeah, and the Affordable Housing Trust letter specifically discussed the AMI.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Okay.
So I'll put that in here, and it's the only reference for it, but I think it's an appropriate spot for it.
Mhm.
So
So use the same
Note the planning,
phraseology.
note the,
No, note the, just like above, parentheses, note the Manchester Affordable Housing Trust letter. Attached for more
But
detail.
not underlined.
That's just an
Yeah, that's-
artifact of track changes.
I
Yeah.
don't know how to use this.
The attached Manchester Affordable Housing Trust letter.
letter attached.
Right. Yeah, just say letter attached.
Attached.
That's good.
For more details.
Well, of course, that's why we're telling them to go there.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
good.
Mhm. Yes.
Yep.
Last paragraph of item number 3, and then we'll take a couple of public comments.
Be near unanimous.
Yeah, that was near. I'm not sure how.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, you're working with a different version.
Mm-hmm.
Only. No.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure about this word.
Recommended that
Yeah.
and
Advised.
Not advised, I think.
Requested.
advised is fine.
Advised or requested. Yeah.
Or you requested.
Is good.
Requested.
That. No, requested to select that.
That,
Yeah.
You don't need that.
Okay.
We are not legally a select board.
Oh, that's right.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, that's to come to you in a
Fall meeting.
fall meeting.
In some other century.
No? No?
No, why not now?
As Alan put it last night, in a town meeting soon to come to you.
Exactly. Uh,
Oh, no, no,
Oh, damn it.
Uh-oh,
Sorry.
big old
Be right
spill.
back.
unhappy kitty.
Dog problem?
Either that or a big spill. One of the two. Barfing cat or spill.
Could be both.
Eli, sustainable development principles, is principles a capital P, kind of in the middle of that paragraph? Yeah.
Also by a near
It was
unanimous.
not a unanimous vote. It was a near
By
unanimous.
a near.
Right.
I think, how about we just additionally?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Just over.
The SLV is because of its choice of location. That's what, I want to emphasize, that people are not objecting to affordable housing. The objection is the location. And scale
Uh,
or scope. It just,
You have a question?
no, not so far.
is
I
that
think just
Sheila?
Gail.
Ah,
Am
Hi,
I
Gail.
listening to you? Hi, Becky. You had a question?
oh, I have many questions, but
No,
no.
I think she was saying the word scale and you heard Gail.
Ah, there we go.
Oh, I'll answer to anything. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, Gail.
Thank you for being with us, Gail.
When we review the minutes for this meeting,
Yes, and its impact, I like that. Or how about its threat to our water resource?
I wouldn't get involved with any of that, Eli,
yeah,
because this letter is all about everything that's involved there. And of course, we're going to a parenthetical phrase seeing the attached letter from SEMA, which says, here are all of the reasons. So
Right, but
I wouldn't put that in there. I just say their opposition to the proposed project, see the letter over see the letter over 700, maybe you ought to say, see the letter right away, comma, over 700 residents signed a petition.
But I just think I understand, see the letter, but I think, it just in terms of kind of pinpoint clarity.
You got
right
six
here.
things. You got six things. You got six. It's the first page. It's all of them.
Okay.
It's all of them.
The article reads, the proposal's threats to life, health, and safety of residents throughout the town and of wildlife on or near the parcel. I think that that's not going to be gain any traction with the MHA.
Those
No, and
comments are not, no.
So I agree with John.
okay,
so leave it like it is here.
okay.
Yep. It's got two parenthetical statements here
putting
in a
in
row.
over,
I'm just wondering if you can't put them in one. Yeah.
As well as, comma, as
No,
well
she's
as.
done it fine. You can have I guess, two sentences in one parenthetical phrase. That's fine.
Yep.
I think that for clarity's sake, you need to put prior to the town, our annual town meeting, 700 residents signed a petition. Or over 700 residents. When did that actually?
Just say earlier this year.
I like that better.
Yes,
earlier
John,
this
that's
year.
good. That's
Yeah.
good.
Earlier this
That-
I
year.
just want to separate it from the start of this paragraph.
I agree. It's not like
About
we
town
rushed,
meeting, and
like we
there weren't
rushed out and
700
got-
residents there.
yeah, we didn't rush out and get 700 names.
Right.
There's no comma, I don't think.
Mm-mm.
Good.
Mhm.
I'm good.
All right, Sarah
Um,
Melick, comment? Oh, somebody on the board was just about to catch something.
Yes, in the note, the attached letter from SEMA, which gathered the signatures on the citizen petition. So that becomes the authority about that petition.
I don't know, yeah. For parallel structure, above we said it was note blah, 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 the attached letter. Here we've got the attached letter from blah, blah, blah. I don't know if it's, it just bothers me a little bit. I know it bothers Ann probably a little bit because she's into parallel structure. Right?
Okay,
Okay,
Yeah.
no, the attached petition from SEMA.
Well, above we said, note the planning board letter attached.
Right, but the petition itself lists all
Oh,
700
okay,
people.
that's, yeah.
So is it just the petition or the petition and a letter?
Yeah,
Uh,
it's the
both-
letter.
It's both, but we're referring to the petition here, and that's where I think we should send them so that
Okay,
they can
you're
see.
citing it. Okay, I get. That's what you're
Mhm.
citing. Okay. Thank you.
Good now?
good.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah, Jeff, don't you want to say and accompanying letter there because the
much,
letter
I
is,
agree, I
Okay.
agree with you. They're gonna look at the accompanying letter or not,
yes,
but the 700 signatures are there.
yeah, note the attached petition from SEMA and its
I'm not
accompanying.
I'm not trying to undermine the letter, but I think it's too much language and it dilutes the impact of over 700 residents.
Well, you've got it there and its accompanying letter.
All right, done with that paragraph?
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Sarah Melick.
Yes, are you attaching the Manchester Affordable Housing Trust letter?
Yes.
Oh,
I would
Mhm.
like to have my name redacted.
You would, yes, you would request that your name not be on there because you're on the zoning board.
Thank you.
Good point.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Sandy.
Yes, in a couple places, the word smaller projects. I would recommend just saying projects, especially when you consider one of those smaller projects is a 29 unit. And if 100% of that is going to be eventually affordable, that's near what they're suggesting. So I think smaller takes away from it. The use of smaller projects is used in the first paragraph and in the second paragraph. The other thing I would recommend is what the town is pursuing is more integrated and appropriately scaled types of projects for the town. So I think that integrated, I think is very critical. I think that gets to, I think Becky, what you were trying to get to with respect to location. So I don't know, wordsmithing or whatever, but integrated I think is a good word. So anyway, those are two things that catch my eye that I think will be important for the citizens that are backing these projects.
I agree. If we were to use other appropriate and integrated projects.
Integrated, comma, appropriately scaled projects.
Mhm.
Well, not even just scaled, but appropriate. The project
Appropriate, yeah.
itself is appropriate more than just scale.
Exactly, yeah, I think you can
Yeah.
see the scale, yeah. So, yeah, there's two different places at least. that-
Appropriate, I'm sorry to say that I feel appropriate is very vague. We've referred to the scale of this project as being out of character with the town. And I think that we're trying to highlight the integration of the smaller projects. And I agree with you getting the word smaller out of there because it diminishes the effort.
Yeah, yeah. No, I see what you're saying, Jeff. You're
But appropriate
consistently.
is a pretty vague.
Mhm,
Yeah, it is
So
pretty vague. I
appropriately
agree.
scaled,
Mhm.
I think is better. I understand what you're
It
trying
is,
to
it
do,
just
Sandy, and I
follows
think
the
it's a good
point.
thing.
Yeah.
But
One of these, okay.
Good find.
Good with that?
Mhm.
All right, moving on. Item number 4.
boy, we're roaring here.
We're doing
You need
all
a,
right.
you need a period after 4 for consistency.
And I need to undo what I just did with respect to bolding the 4.
I would take out if nothing else.
Yeah.
Mhm, mhm.
Scrolling a little bit. All right, good.
The $550,000 is his number.
Yeah, you take the 75 million in his pro forma divided by the 136 units and you get over 550,000.
So I would say based on the applicant's pro forma, the per unit cost is more than 550,000.
Mhm. Yep, using the applicant's own info. That's, yeah.
All right, then you don't need the last part of that sentence, which says even when using a very low costs per square foot estimate. It's whatever his estimate is, because that's the number we're
Mhm.
using.
Well, I guess the point though is that
He
he's
used a low
lowball.
cost.
He used a low cost and he's still coming up with an extremely high.
Okay.
Yep.
So I think you can leave that part of the sentence in there. I would just throw in at the beginning, based on the applicant's.
Yeah, but
Mhm.
you have to say
Submission. Mhm.
which is using a very low cost, although that's our judgment, I guess.
So that the planning board letter elaborates on that a bit.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And you could put into parentheses even when using.
Mhm. Don't put it in parentheses. Put a comma
mhm.
after 55, yeah.
Does any, the high flying investors, would there be any other more appropriate term than high flying? Or is that, do you all like that?
You really don't need that sentence at all.
Yeah,
Yeah, I would take that out, the
Yeah.
whole sentence,
Yep, yeah.
because he can say, I've got the investors, period.
Mm-hmm.
And instead of an unfeasible proposition, a financially unsustainable position.
Is it unsustainable or?
It's a proposition. It's not a position.
Proposition's fine. And it should-
Realistic?
Is it unattainable or
I'm using
unsustainable?
that language very specifically because
Okay,
he has used that language with us to say, I can't do that, it's financially unsustainable
okay, there you go.
or financially infeasible. And it should be
Well-
a financially, not and.
Right.
Thank you, Rita.
Is that sentence that follows, does that add anything? I think that's. Thus, there can be no finding that the project is financially viable. I would take that out.
That's
I,
part of-
I don't know. I kind of like that we're pointing out the site because when you talk about the, you know,
Oh, the last
the
sentence is
amount,
good. The last sentence is good.
But the last sentence depends
On the previous sentence.
on the previous sentence.
right.
I think it's fine to repeat yourself. On this particular point, I think it's fine.
Would you,
Yeah, I like that.
Just further
Ooh.
indicating.
yeah, it's a little.
Mm-hmm.
Demonstrating.
Yep.
I
Okay,
don't
with
like
that-
the word in the last paragraph where it says, but we know that Mass Housing knows that the Housing Appeals Committee never finds in favor. We can't say that because later on in the letter, we talk about, was it Amesbury, not Amesbury or the town later where the,
Well,
they
No,
did
that's-
find,
later on, it refers to a finding on safety, right?
Yes.
yes. But to say that, you know, the sentence there just simply says never finds.
And I think
I
that
know
was,
it's,
that particular sentence, I think, was written by John Whitten,
Yeah.
who probably knows.
okay,
I don't like saying to Mass Housing what they know.
I don't either. Thank you, Jeff. It's one thing to say we understand, you know, that the Mass Housing's position at this stage, et cetera. Is that poking the bear or is that effective? I mean,
Well, how about if we just did this?
and get rid of the but.
Where did
We know
never
that
come
the
from?
house-
John Whitten?
Yeah,
And-
I'm not sure we need this paragraph at all.
What's that?
I'm not sure we need this entire paragraph.
Yeah, I think we should cut the paragraph out, take the last parentheses and put it up on our previous paragraph.
Yeah.
Excellent, right there. Ed.
Mhm,
Yeah.
yep. Yeah,
Done?
Yep,
Yep.
Any comments from the public on section 4?
How do I raise my hand?
Moving on to
just
section 5, environmental.
I think Rick Rogers wants to say something.
You
I'm
say
sorry,
something?
yes, I was supposed to raise my hand. So, yeah, that whole section 4, I just kind of question the direction it goes. Again, I think mass housing is not going to care, right? But I wonder if there's a spin here in terms of the feasibility, because what I think you could state is that there's going to be no opportunity for someone to change the scope of this project, right? So when you're making other arguments about no sidewalks and the amount of blasting, whatever else, they're not going to be able to take on more expense to try to make this thing work, right? And that is a concern, because if they're going to argue against some of your points, then financial feasibility becomes a stop. Does that make sense?
Well, that is part of it, but also it calls into question the pro forma that the developer has put forth, and whether or not the overall application is sufficiently well formed, and whether or not mass housing should reject it as a result.
Okay.
Ready to move on to item 5?
Mhm.
Mhm.
Thank you, Rick.
Yep.
Environmental degradation, bolded.
Oh.
Sarah, mute yourself.
Exactly.
Sorry.
METC is MECT, last line of the first paragraph.
Oh, look at that.
METX.
And it's trustees of reservations, isn't it?
Mm. Yes.
Well, they might be trustees of reservation as well, but
Mm.
If we're gonna say bye before, I think we have to say bye here, right?
Mhm.
do we reiterate here again, 50% of the town's drinking water supply, drinking supply, or do we've said it twice. Do we need to reiterate?
And we also should not be having this word in here like that.
No, no.
It's Cedar Swamp is not actually the headwaters of the town's drinking supply. It's a filtration area. The headwaters of Sawmill Brook actually are on the other side of 128, and it comes under 128, goes through Cedar Swamp, and then comes back. Not that the MHA is going to really care about that, but that is,
But
It's good to be, yeah, no, we need to be accurate.
it's referred to in a video that the
Green team.
yeah.
not the
no.
green team.
Mhm.
The stream team.
Stream.
No,
Stream train.
I'm sorry, Stream Team. Thank you, Greg. Made that it's a filtration system.
Mm.
That what
Just
we
say
want?
it serves the town's drinking supply well. I think that's okay. You don't have to say what, in what way.
Conduit
Or
to-
it serves as an important part of the town's
Mhm.
drinking supply.
Essential part.
Yes, is essential.
And essential.
All right, just say it is an essential part. You don't have to say serves then.
Mhm.
So yeah,
Is
so
an
Jason did.
Yeah, it is an essential part.
Mhm. drinking supply, we don't need, yeah.
I,
And then of and the need to be separated.
I think the well needs to be in there.
Drinking supply well,
Yep.
that's incredibly awkward.
Mm.
Yeah,
All right, then take out drinking supply and put in the town's well. Drinking well, whatever.
We should all be drinking well.
Or the town's well that supplies 50%.
yes, we do
Well,
need
yeah,
to reiterate that.
Central part.
So-
The town,
Of the town's well that supplies 50% of water to residents.
no comma before that.
Oh,
Yes.
yeah.
You're right, Ann.
I had a very picky English teacher.
Would that be Warner?
I was going to add a new sentence here as well.
Of drinking water for residents.
They don't need residents, drinking water,
Actually, it's
period.
more than
We know what it
residents.
is.
No, I want
Right,
to keep
I
people,
wouldn't do-
I want to keep people in front of this, John.
Drinking
But
water, people drink water.
But it's not just for residents, okay? Haven't we I mean, there are times that we've helped other towns, but
Not with our well.
okay.
Yeah, Greg, what were you talking about adding?
So after this sentence, after the vernal pools,
Mhm.
was something that came out of the Concom's work. So the applicant's wetland consultant stated, quote, 3 wetland areas within the site contain the, yeah, I can send this to you, contain the necessary biological and physical criteria for certification as vernal pools.
Contain the necessary what?
Contain the necessary biological and physical criteria for certification as vernal pools.
Greg, is this going to be in the letter that from them that we do not have yet?
I don't know. I don't know if it will be or not.
Okay.
But that's good to have in there.
I'd like to back up a little bit. A town well that supplies the drinking water, I'd put a period and start a new paragraph and say,
Mhm.
in addition, Cedar Swamp, in addition, yeah, right.
I wouldn't do a new paragraph.
Where did number 6?
Because this,
I want it.
that sentence, Ann, refers to the sentence before at the site of adjacent parcels containing significant wetlands.
Okay.
And I agree with you, it's a run-on and kind of awkward sentence at this point. We need to fix it. But
Okay.
I wouldn't
Then
do that by.
let's back up and put it in the same paragraph. Cedar Swamp also hosts, or the,
Mhm.
Something terrible just happened and I'm going to,
I'm sorry.
Yes,
We just-
6 went away.
it's
We
all right,
lost 6.
got interposed. Cedar Swamp also,
Hosts.
Mapped and unmapped vernal pools?
Well, that's what it said.
Contains,
No, it's not Cedar Swamp that does, it's the land area.
Yes, the surrounding area.
But it's Cedar Swamp, not Cedar Swamp.
And, but Cedar Swamp or Swamp does not host mapped and unmapped vernal pools. That's Those are two different biomes, two different, not biomes. but
Yep.
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 Two different,
You can't have a
Large
vernal
minor.
pool in a swamp because a swamp is wet all year round.
correct. Well, sometimes.
Anyway, is this now reasonable?
Yeah.
And,
Yes.
and I might emphasize the sentence that Greg put in by putting the word own before wetland consultant.
Hmm.
Mhm.
Three what? Oh.
The applicant's own wetland consultant stated,
That 3.
Is that correct, Greg?
Yes.
and change stated to reported.
Mhm.
That way you don't have to get into stated in his report or
Mhm.
the awkward business of pronouns.
Okay. Last read on that paragraph?
The area of some to an array of rare endangered species.
Good.
Mhm.
Sandy, we're gonna go all the way at end of 5 before I'm gonna take public comment. This paragraph.
In this paragraph, I know we've included some of the numbers from last night, but can we include the over 11,000 truckloads, large truckloads of rock that will be, that Jay Bothwick mentioned?
We flying by the seat of our pants to accept that as fact.
Yeah,
Yep.
we don't even know they're taking anything away.
Yeah, they could distribute it.
They really
Swamp.
did need to do a cut and fill to get as much area as they can. It gives you a sense of the volume, but there's no
Yeah.
Yeah.
suggestion anything's going to leave the site. Boy, that would be expensive if they were hauling all of that away.
Mhm.
I would take out it fronts and put in frontage.
The public road, it's frontage?
No. From the public road frontage.
Mm,
Ah, okay.
I don't like it fronts.
Okay,
What is it?
how about just from the public road?
Okay. But, yeah, okay. One more space there, Eli.
Yep.
Ryan, he doesn't want to delete it.
No.
Hmm.
Force
Got
it
it.
to obey.
I'm just wondering about the language after blasting. It says whose impacts. Whose refers to in general a person.
Mm.
The copy
Which?
before said this is a huge amount of blasting, and that as a statement alone has some impact. So I just put a period after that, and then start the next sentence with impacts are very likely to alter water flow. So I just take out whose and make it 2 sentences.
I'm sorry, where are you referring to?
Yeah, that's right. There is a huge
Last
amount of
sentence.
blasting. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And we're saying that on what expertise? That it's going to alter water flow.
May, well, it says it's very likely to alter water flow when you're talking about removing, you're
Sure, it
denuding.
can make water flow uphill, but on what expertise are we saying that? We don't have the expertise.
Yeah.
We accuse him of not having the expertise in our regional planning.
Mm-hmm.
What expertise
know.
do we have in this?
I don't know where
Well,
that information came from.
Yeah, so I think we have to be careful about that.
But when you change the topography, which you obviously do when you blast away 40
Mhm.
feet of hilltop, you will change the flow of water.
Right,
I don't think it
especially
takes
the
a lot of,
runoff.
I don't need a PhD in geomorphology to come to that conclusion.
Mhm. I agree.
how about, this is a huge amount of blasting, period. The impacts are likely to alter.
Yeah, I take out very, that's,
Mhm.
you know, that's not, that makes it,
Likely
Like,
to alter
we're really
water
certain.
runoff.
Water flow, I mean, runoff is flow.
So we're
Uh,
saying the impacts are very likely to
Are
alter water
likely.
flow, are
Mhm.
likely to,
See, it confuses me because we're talking in the previous paragraph about Cedar Swamp and other water around it.
Okay, how about water flow off the site?
Runoff.
I would say
Runoff.
runoff, because runoff also is not necessary, I mean, it's not, from that site, it's not gonna be a good thing into the water.
I don't think we can comment on that one way or the other. It's gonna change water flow. I agree with Greg. Things are gonna change. How they're gonna change? We don't know,
Mhm.
but they're
Mhm.
gonna
But
change.
what I'm saying is water flow is vague because we're talking about large bodies of water like Cedar Swamp. Is the blasting going to affect that? No.
Okay. No, water
don't know.
flow from the site.
We don't know.
We don't know.
We know that it's going to change from the site.
Yes, yes.
That makes it more specific than saying we're going to change the course of
Okay, water flow from the site.
or on this from the site.
I just like alter water flow. I don't even know. The water may never leave the site. We don't know that.
Well, if it doesn't leave the site, then we don't have a problem.
Mhm.
Well, we have concerns about what's happening in the environment on the site as well as around the site.
We spent a lot of
comfortable with-
time in our
Okay.
negotiations talking about runoff and water
Yeah.
flow off of the site.
Mhm.
I think we
Right,
need
talk about
to,
runoff in the next paragraph.
How about we
the next-
just say the
okay,
impacts
just
are
leave it as
likely-
water
Yeah,
flow.
just leave it. Just leave it as
Just
flow.
leave it as water flow.
Yep.
And then
But there's also another blasting thing that's not mentioned here, and that is impact through ledges to
Mhm.
other areas, close, adjacent areas of the town
mhm.
and 128 and the
Mm.
School Street Bridge.
Exactly, those are big concerns. Do we say that? I mean, we don't have any information, any studies as to what those impacts could be.
Well,
Get out a sentence, we are also concerned about
Mhm.
what's the collateral damage from the blasting.
Yes, from the extensive blasting.
From such extensive blasting.
Mhm.
Possible collateral damage.
And are we a capital board?
Yep.
We don't want to say nearby residences
Yeah,
because
'cause
we've
they're-
been.
We've
I
been
just say
saying there
extensive
are,
blasting, period.
yeah,
Just say extensive
Yep, I
blasting,
agree.
period.
really, to just this,
Yeah.
Mhm.
kind of play it big, but all right.
I guess we could say on the on
To roads, bridges, and
And
highways.
structures. How about roads, bridges, and structures?
There are
Sure.
structures that are
Structures.
within the
Yeah.
blasting radius.
Mhm.
Well, you
Yeah.
talk about the doctor's office over there. You
Sure,
got a
that's fine.
doctor's office, you know?
And the
That's fine.
bridges- All right, good with that.
Yep.
Okay.
There's something, mention the large swath
Mm-hmm.
destruction denuding. We need to clean that up a little bit.
Yeah. Ooh, ick.
Mm-hmm.
Not to mention denuding a hilltop of all life.
So you have two separate sentences. The impacts are likely to alter water flow, period.
Yep.
Additionally,
Mhm.
additionally, what is additionally, or there's also concern, but we're saying that.
You know,
How about just,
I have concerns about that statement. I mean, what if they weren't doing any blasting? They're taking a
They
bulldozer.
have to, they can't.
Well, I
No, they
know,
cannot
but
bulldoze.
but in any development, they take out everything.
Yep.
And they start all over. Now, whether you blast it to take it out or you bring in a bulldozer
fine.
and everybody, it
Yep.
doesn't make any
Okay.
difference. So I would take that. I don't think that sentence adds a whole lot.
I don't know, the denuding an entire hilltop is
Yeah,
pretty
but
significant
John's right.
impact.
John's right. It
But-
has nothing
but-
to do with blasting.
So yeah, it's not
Okay,
blasting relevant.
okay.
Yeah,
Right, okay.
so this sentence now is
it's a little. It's kind of lonely, isn't it?
it's kind of lonely.
Just change,
How about we go back to turning these two into one sentence?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
oh, how
huge
about doing
amount
the
of-
last two as one sentence?
And is likely to alter water flow.
Oh, yeah, okay, fine.
That's great.
Yeah. Just and is likely to auto. You don't need impact. I don't think.
I think so. I agree. This is a huge amount of blasting and is likely to alter water flow. Or which will likely.
Is really short.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I think we stick with that. I'm happy with that.
Okay.
Okay.
Change- Just do additional.
Hydrology, a better phrase than water flow?
Hydrology is
Ooh,
fine.
that's yes.
But do we have the hydrology expertise among ourselves to say that?
Well,
Yeah.
Do we have a report that says that?
No.
Well, it's, how is it we're saying that about water flow as opposed to hydrology?
Because
I mean,
Greg said it
that's-
was obvious.
Okay, let's leave it at water flow, and I'm not sure that we need an additionally if we remain in the next sentence.
Mm-hmm. I think we just say the board remains concerned.
Maybe impact ought to be singular, and maybe you say its impact is likely.
Hmm.
It's a,
I don't know. I don't mind the impacts because, well,
we're dealing with one thing that we're looking at here, the water flow at this point.
the
Yeah,
blasting, yeah.
Facts from something.
Or are likely to involve, are likely to involve. If it's impacts, then
The
you say
impacts are
likely.
likely to involve
Right.
alteration of
If
water
it's
flow.
impacts, then we're saying there's other stuff, and it's true. There may be other stuff, but.
Okay. They're blasting a bunch of times. That's a bunch of impacts.
Mm-hmm.
Leave it.
Okay.
Won't it be controlling water runoff from the blasted granite hilltop or denuded granite hilltop or changed
Oh,
granite
leave it.
hilltop?
The denuded hilltop is gone.
No,
Yeah.
I'm in the next paragraph.
Yeah, I know. He's saying that we shouldn't be emphasizing denuded
No.
because it happens on any construction site regardless.
Okay, but just saying it's water runoff from the granite hilltop will be very, okay. I think that just, you know, it's
simple.
maintaining itself right now. When it comes to being disturbed is when we are going to have problems with it.
Okay,
From the modified granite hilltop,
Disrupted.
disrupted. I mean, do you see what I'm
That's good.
getting at?
Disrupted. Where does unnaturally warm?
that's from sitting on a parking lot in the sun and draining off and killing the cold water trout.
Formed or
I just think I get what you're saying, Anne, but I think unnaturally warm
It-
does not convey what it is. Or could it be the overwarmed runoff water?
Heated. Uh,
Do we need to,
you don't need it at all. You can just say,
no net gain in.
yeah, it should be
I
no
mean, but-
net gain, but I see what you're saying and I understand, and I agree.
And at least the MECT letter does explain what that means.
At the end of this paragraph, we could refer to the MEC2 letter.
Yeah.
Could I
So
no,
you-
I'm not
you
going
could
to
do
suggest
you
that.
can do two sentences. You know, first you talk about the sediment laden runoff,
Mhm.
and then also concerned about increased temperature of water runoff
From paved surfaces.
from from paved and constructed surfaces. Yeah.
Mhm.
Paved and constructed, yeah. Okay. There's also concern about.
Yep.
But the temperature of the water has nothing to do with the drinking water supply.
But it does have to do with the endangered species in the vicinity.
I understand that. But we're saying with critical water resources surrounding the
Mhm.
site, it's imperative that no net gain in
That unnaturally warm runoff from paved and constructed surfaces will affect endangered species, threatened
But
species.
Yeah, but that's not
On topic.
germane to this paragraph. Is it?
It's
No.
water runoff and it's causing environmental damage.
Right. So you can talk about two different
Okay.
types of damages. Yeah.
Right.
Everything so far in this section has been about the water supply, though.
So it
Well,
is
maybe you should-
imperative that there is no net gain in sediment-laden runoff, period.
Mm-hmm.
I would take out the sentence about the warm water runoff. Because we're emphasizing the town's drinking water here. And while I'd like to, I'm a fisherman and I would love to emphasize the plight of the endangered trout. I think
I
it's
think that,
it's
I
out of
think it
place
still
here.
pertains. Well, where do we put it? Because we
You
have.
could say we should
sort
get
of-
rid of the trout because they're drinking our drinking water.
No, they're just going to.
It's
the
not just
bathroom.
drinking. It's not, they're not just drinking and
No, I'm just
But, I
reaching
mean,
reaching 9:15-ish.
yes.
haven't
Yeah.
we interspersed other kind of other,
To some extent.
You don't need to include everything because you're referencing the other letters. So the other letters talk about it, and that can be sufficient.
So what if we took that sentence and put it on at the end?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we're talking about waivers from wetland regulations, protection of water resources. It's a very important point, but it doesn't belong in this paragraph.
Yeah.
We could put in a short paragraph that said, separate from the drinking water supply issues, there's also concern about unnaturally warm runoff from paved and constructed surfaces impacting locally endangered trout.
I think we ought to just park that there. I think we have to rearrange things. I'm looking at the paragraph that even comes right out of this, right after this. And that's the paragraph that should kind of lead everything off, because we're going back and we're saying drinking water is our most important factor.
Let's
And all of a
take
sudden,
out-
we're reverting back to that. So you have to
Let's-
rearrange some thoughts.
let's take out the warm runoff altogether and just focus on.
I'm fine with that. But
That paragraph, Eli, it's like it should be the first paragraph.
some aspect of it, yeah.
Yeah, the first 3 or 4%, not the last sentence deals with this forever chemicals. That doesn't belong there, but everything else really belongs up when we first mentioned Cedar Swamp, about 5 lines from the top.
I agree with John, we should switch the paragraphs.
Yeah, or that first paragraph needs to be maybe 2 paragraphs, and you put this in between it or something.
Okay, so resource in starting with environmental degradation, sensitive resource area, and the rest of that is all. Oh, and then there's the water supply in the middle of it.
Yeah.
Nope. Let's consider this last paragraph as a summation rather than an introduction.
Well, if you take out the first sentence, you can do that.
But before, Eli, did you cut that sentence that you put in
Yeah,
about about the warm water,
Yep,
or did you just delete it?
I cut it.
Excellent. In the first paragraph, this area is the home to an array of rare and endangered species. For example, concerns about warm water runoff and trout could go there. So that's the sentence.
Yeah, and then,
For example, comma, and then Control V.
Uh,
Impacting endangered fish species. Could impact endangered fish species.
As concerned that.
And then we reference the MEC letter, which picks that up. Does that help, Ann?
yes, that's great.
Okay. And then I would take paragraph 4 and switch it with paragraph 3.
Good.
Actually, seeing it there, I think it belongs where it was. Because the
Yeah, I think-
natural transition between concerns about the massive amount of blasting and controlling water runoff from the disrupted granite hilltop.
Yeah. I think you leave it where it was, Eli, and just take out the first sentence because it does become kind of a summary. If you start with protecting our drinking water is of paramount importance. Take out the first
Mhm.
sentence, and that becomes kind of a summary.
Yes, good. That's clean, John.
Yep.
All right.
And take the most recent state mandated regulation regarding certain forever chemicals.
This
Yeah,
time the
that's-
state is on our side. Yes, it's state mandated, but they're keeping us from, yeah, okay, fine.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I
And
think
state
that-
mandated is hyphenated.
Right.
Mhm.
But I think that statement or that little section belongs someplace else. You want to close with the sentences that will allow us to continue to supply potable water to our community. That is a good ending sentence. That point with regard to the chemicals can be fitted in somewhere else further up. I'm not sure where.
Right before adding to our concerns is the fact that the applicant seeks waivers of 20 local wetland regulations. I would take the most recent state mandated regulation regarding forever chemicals and those 2 sentences and put it in there.
All right, let's see how that reads.
Rather than consider, maybe.
Yeah.
I think I might stop after drinking water.
It's also potable water, not portable water. Last sentence of the last
Yeah.
paragraph.
Yes.
And a period got lost at the end of that paragraph. Yeah. Okay.
Fine.
If these arguments have any frame at all, that's a reasonable one.
Is it our aquifer or water supply?
Aquifer works here.
Mhm.
Okay. All right.
All right, that was a heavy lift. I think we're
Yeah.
good.
Let's see. Ha.
I don't,
So, you good with that, folks, board members?
Yes.
Yes.
Sandy?
Yeah,
Hi, especially in the first paragraph, there seems to be a bouncing a little bit between what water resources are on the site versus surrounding the site. You might want to take a read through and I don't know if legally there's more behind what's on the site versus surrounding. But it sort of bounces back and forth and it's hard to follow what critical resources are there versus adjacent.
I think we wanted to cover the fact that they're both of those were in play.
Yes, yes, definitely. And then directly adjacent is the Cedar Swamp versus surrounding area, because it could be conceived as a little bit more vague. It's just so critical that it's there. But I don't
Yeah.
know, could just read through that and see
yeah.
for
How about
clarification.
saying, how about
Exactly.
take out surrounding and just say the area?
I think the confusion comes up because we put that sentence about the applicant's own wetland consultant, because that
Yeah.
yanks it back into the site, and it's the only comment that is site specific. Everything else says this is what happens to the stuff around the site.
I think just
So-
take out surrounding.
Yeah,
Yeah.
take out surrounding.
All
I
right,
think it's critical that there are wetlands, vernal pools on the site,
Yes, and that's stated in the next sentence.
the site and the adjacent parcels, and then the area. Yeah, I guess that's vague enough. Just wanted you to make sure that you're taking advantage of the clarity. Thanks.
all right. So, Alan, you are, I'm gonna, if you have a simple factual or observation to make here, I'll take it, but you're on a short leash, you're not a resident. And you're muted. You're still muted. That looks better.
No.
Nope,
No, it's not better.
There.
there.
Thank you. Alan Macmillan, Rockport Conservation Commission. Several things stood up here on the issue of Cedar Swamp. To me, the water supply is the most critical aspect of this whole thing. I would change part of near the beginning where it says Cedar Swamp is a significant and essential part of the town's water supply, supporting 50% of the town's municipal water system. That way you don't have to get into wells and all of that. Also, in terms of parking spaces and warm water, et cetera, 242 cars. I Googled while we're listening to this, what the square footage per parking space is. Standard state Massachusetts is 320 square feet per car. With 242 cars, that comes out to 77,440 square
Alan?
feet. Yes.
We can't be doing on the fly analysis here.
Well, I'm
Um,
just, okay, all I want to say is the water supply is your most critical aspect of this whole thing. Getting into details about PFAS is not as important as emphasizing the loss of your water supply. I guess that's, I'll let it go there.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, any other board comments on this paragraph? Moving on to 6. All right. Um,
Is there, in the second sentence, I would like to talk, rather than saying that no other access is possible, I'd like to tie that to something like, according to the developer.
Yes.
Right. And it would be given the cost
No,
of,
just according to the developer. I wouldn't get into cost.
Yeah.
okay.
You just said
Well,
no.
but it's saying no other access possible is given the extreme site constraints. So either you say extreme site constraints or not, but he's saying it's not possible because of the cost in dealing with the extreme site constraints.
I don't want to do his work for him. I think just saying, according to the developer, no other access is possible.
Right, so take out, given the extreme site constraints. No?
Yeah, I would take that out.
I would take out extreme. I wouldn't take that out.
You know,
go with Jeff's. I like the addition of the qualification. Any other comments on this first paragraph?
Could you say not the nearly 1,900 feet as opposed to necessary
Mm,
or no?
Where does necessary go?
Instead of proposed or the necessary in this ill-cited project.
it's 900, that's proposed. I'm okay with the way it reads, but I think you ought to put feet after 500. You've got feet after 1900, and I think you ought to be
Mhm.
consistent with how you're expressing feet.
So you either do the dash or the feet.
Either the apostrophe
Mhm.
or the feet, either
Or
one, but
apostrophe.
they should be.
Right.
What do you want apostrophes or feet?
No, feet, the word.
Write it
I
out.
put feet in. Yeah, I'd write.
Yeah,
John wants his feet in this sentence.
yes.
Yep.
2 feet.
All right, this paragraph.
Is it possible to put into this paragraph also that the developer himself acknowledged it would be less safe? Which he did with one access site point.
Into this one?
yeah.
No, into the second paragraph.
No, put it at the end. Put it at the end of the first.
Yeah.
Which?
He did it when we were discussing with our consultant, the traffic engineer.
But
The
this whole
developer-
paragraph is built around that consultant's.
This one is.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right, that's why I was saying put it in the second paragraph.
Yeah.
That is the second paragraph.
Right. She's
Yeah, I'm arguing that you should put it at the end of the first paragraph, even just to sort of slightly balance the paragraphs. The second paragraph is complicated enough. just the developer acknowledges that a single point of access makes the project less safe.
I don't know if it was just the access. That discussion, as it occurs to me, was kind of a little bit of everything associated with the steepness too, wasn't it?
Okay. Fine.
Yeah, I thought so as well.
So in here then, or
Yeah.
Yes. In a public meeting, the developer acknowledged.
Hmm.
We got the tape. Right, Gail?
Mm.
Single access.
That the proposed,
Made the
and it
project less
was
safe.
less safe, right? Yeah.
Project less safe.
Mm-hmm.
just leave it there.
Mm-hmm.
You want himself in there?
No.
Done with that paragraph? On to this one.
Should it be local initiative project approval? Should we be consistent as opposed to just saying local initiative approval? Is it local initiative?
Yes, I think project and lowercase approval.
Yeah.
I would take out the comma and before if and when.
Are we still in here?
No, you went on to the next paragraph.
I did, but then we went back to this one.
Right.
So if and when,
I would take out the and comma before if and when utilities are extended.
How about just when the utilities are extended? Do we need it to say under the roadway? Get rid of a few words. Or just extended across 128
area.
or beyond 128.
Oh yeah, under the roadway is an obscure reference for the Mass Housing Authority. I would say under Route 128.
I don't know that we want to say under 128. I would say beyond or past, yeah, because we don't know if it's going to be under,
Beyond,
over, what.
beyond. Across. Yeah. No, capital.
Mhm.
I think beyond is better than across because that's not the plan. It was going to go under and
Cross could be under or over.
Yeah.
but beyond covers both. Anyway,
Well,
I like
Across.
beyond, but we got two beyond, two across. Eli, flip the coin.
yeah, I'm gonna go with across.
Yeah. Beyond sounds like, oh, we're going miles and beyond.
Right. Yeah,
Yes, well, we are.
We're
and
just
that's the
trying to
whole
get
point.
across 128 here.
No, but we're talking, it is beyond. That's the whole point. This
We're into
project is
Essex.
beyond.
We're into Essex.
All right, so I'll reach into the
Okay.
mathematical here and say beyond can also be longitudinally past the northern and
Yeah,
extend.
it's going in lots of different directions.
So I like the.
This meeting has gone beyond time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Hang in there. You're almost there. You're almost there. 3 more paragraphs.
Close. We could get
Yeah.
into the
Can
clarity.
you roll up a little bit, Eli, so we can see the signature line? Okay,
we're
Thank
not
you.
that close. We're getting close, but
thank you.
Okay, I can throw one page of notes away. All right.
Good.
Yeah.
We're actually, we didn't say that we were done with this yet.
Correct.
Right. The isolated site needs all the help it can get to integrate into the community. Better integrate is a split infinitive, and you've got into.
Mhm.
Wow.
Sorry, I used to teach this stuff.
Yeah. Yep.
No wonder you're so good.
So take out better and take out in. And I would put a period there and say, at a minimum, the project needs sidewalks along the internal access road.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
So make that a sentence, Eli. The project needs.
Right. At a minimum, is there a comma?
Yeah. I think the rest of that's fine.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Could we just say that given the steepness of the site, comma, the necessary handicap accessible, as opposed to saying a handicapped accessible, just saying, the necessary one
Mm.
will be challenging and,
he may go for a variance, on that.
okay.
So we just say, we know
Yep.
handicap, that's what the deal is, but,
Mhm.
Correct.
but anything could be built
Mm-hmm.
if you can get the appropriate waivers.
Okay, next paragraph.
Yep. This one here.
Yeah, there's an open parentheses before the number 1. It should be either both open and closed, and similar construction on number 2. Or it should be just following.
Mhm.
What? Blah, blah, blah. So.
Yeah, sentence.
How about
order.
instead of 1,
Yeah.
for both aspects of public safety, comma, first, the ability, and second,
A double dash.
yeah, sure, whatever. And first, the ability to respond, and second, the general safe access. And no parentheses.
But what, okay, there we go. Is it second, the general safe access, or second, general safe access to and from the complex?
You've got
I guess
first the
the-
ability, you got first
Yeah.
the ability, so it should be second the general.
Yeah.
I wouldn't use
Okay.
first and second.
Well,
No.
how about taking out general?
Or primarily and then secondarily? No, I mean,
Primarily and secondarily orders in priority.
correct, yep, yep.
But I would take out first, second,
Mhm.
and general.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Okay.
And even the.
Would you do, okay, both at.
I wouldn't say
comma,
and the safe
ability-
access.
Yep,
And
fine.
safe access, beautiful.
hmm
And once again,
Well, I think once again, we're, yeah, and I thought you said taking out once again. Okay. Yeah.
no, read the sentence and that and doesn't belong there.
hmm Yeah, because that's the verb.
Yeah, it doesn't belong, yeah.
Aspects. once
I would
again
take out the
belong
once
to- yeah,
again. Oh, no, I wouldn't. I'm sorry.
I like the once again. I think we're just,
Yep.
once again, reiterate.
Is that a comma after complex?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right, good with that paragraph?
Yep.
Yep.
All right.
Who's whispering?
Nobody that you know.
Okay.
Is at the end, had the same effective end? Does that mean had the same outcome?
Yeah, you could say same outcome. That's
All
fine.
right, let's keep it a little more.
Okay. At the third sentence, zoning board of appeals, period, that project rather than the project.
Yep.
No, I think the is correct.
Okay. I didn't say it wasn't correct. It wasn't emphatic enough.
Yeah, I think it's okay.
You could say the Lexington Woods project.
That's long.
Yeah, I'm fine with it.
Yep.
Any other edits on this paragraph?
Oh,
So,
we're ending up with our bang here, and to start out with, it is clear to us that.
oh, you want the two
I
us?
would just
to-
start with the proposed site. In conclusion, the proposed site of this project is inappropriate and financially unfeasible for the project to proceed. Comma.
Is it unfeasible or infeasible?
Both.
Okay.
Yeah, I would take out of this project at the start because you said the project at the end for the project to proceed. You've got project in there twice.
hmm
And either you put it in there the first time
Mhm.
and take it out the second time, or one or the other, but not both.
The proposed site is inappropriate. Sounds good to
Right.
me.
I,
That's good.
I actually think that we should
redundant.
hammer home 2 or 3 points here. The proposed site of this project is environmentally unsuitable, financially unfeasible, and presents a danger to public safety.
Mhm.
Yep, I agree. Those 3 points need to
Okay.
be made, and inappropriate is a nothing word.
It's too weak.
Okay. Is it the site or the project that is financially unfeasible and
The proposed project, thank you, Ann.
Yeah, I prefer that because otherwise,
So the proposed project,
yeah,
and I would like to start off with the safety concern, then the environmental concern, and finish with unfeasible.
I mean, financially unfeasible.
Correct.
And corrections to these conditions would make it financially unfeasible.
how about
I
we
think
just
it's
take
already,
out that sentence and go to directly to the next sentence. In conclusion, if built,
Mhm.
Yes.
would
Thank you.
endanger its own residents.
Yeah, we
That's-
don't, you're right.
No, I wouldn't say if built, I would just say in conclusion, the sanctuary.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's okay, yeah.
Or the proposed sanctuary.
It also puts at risk, not just its own residents, but emergency personnel.
Hmm. Its own residents and emergency personnel, sure.
Fail to provide integrated, diverse housing.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. And as far as the sanctuary at Manchester-by-the-Sea benefiting no one, it benefits the developer who gets the developer's commission. And that comes out of the financial.
Not if he can't get it financed.
Well,
Diverse.
That's all he needs to do is get it financed.
He could have money in, he could have people who have been hoodwinked by him, but
Right.
that's not an issue that the Mass
Okay,
Housing
fine.
Authority.
No one but the developer.
Mm-hmm.
maybe we just delete that sentence.
Or I was just gonna suggest that we delete that.
Yeah,
I think so. Eli, are you comfortable putting your name to that?
Could one more word, I think integrated diverse housing, integrated diverse and affordable. I'd like to put the
Yep.
word affordable in
Yes.
there because
Yep.
this is all about affordable housing.
So it should be integrated,
comma
comma,
after
diverse,
integrated.
comma, right,
and
diverse,
diverse.
comma,
Diverse and affordable.
No, just,
no,
no, integrated, diverse, affordable.
Yeah.
Oh,
mhm.
yes.
Yep.
Now, Eli,
Okay.
are we consistent with the word town being capitalized and not capitalized through this document?
Yes,
Seems to me it's wandered around.
I don't think so. I think we've been pretty careful, but we can do a quick review. When we say
Town,
the,
town
we're-
probably appears about 80 times.
Control H.
Hmm.
What does Control H do for you?
Find and
Search.
replace.
Oops.
Yeah.
hang on. No, it doesn't. Not on.
Control F.
Control F will just find it, but that's good enough.
Go to
Yeah,
home.
if you find it.
Yeah, but we don't necessarily want to replace. We just want to find.
Hmm.
We can decide what to do with each one.
There, that's what I was trying to do. The thing that you have to understand is I am on a Mac, so your advice is
Oh, sorry, Command Age,
Oh, that changes everything.
Apple Age,
um,
trying to Mac in a Windows program.
before we go hunting around for town, let's say we're going to go hunt it for town after this. All right, whack-a-mole on town comes right after this because we still have one little sentence to go.
Oh, okay, right.
Okay.
Huh.
We're
How about-
convinced, you're talking to the finder of fact and you're saying what the conclusion is. We're
Right.
convinced that ultimately the project should not be permitted,
Correct. Should not. Yep.
And I'm not.
I think Will is stronger.
Mhm.
Did
will
we
not-
just end with the last paragraph in conclusion
So the
and
thing
just
about-
add that last sentence there? The project even fails. We are convinced that ultimately the project should not be permitted. Just tack that on to in conclusion to that paragraph.
Well, so the reason why will is better than should is if you believe that it gets permitted through mass housing and then fails for safety concerns in the Housing Appeals Committee, then it will not get permitted. So
Ah.
the point is, if you want mass housing to simply not issue the Pell,
Mhm.
the idea is to make the argument that it won't survive even the HAC appeals.
Right. Okay.
So, but
And
yes,
is letter, is letter of project eligibility, is that supposed to be capitalized?
it's usually project eligibility letter, but I think, but I don't really like that.
Yep, I agree.
Mhm.
Should
And
we
do we
be
want-
saying then, Eli, we are convinced that ultimately the project will not be permitted on appeal to housing,
Hmm.
by the Housing
Um,
Appeals Board?
I would just leave it vague.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would leave
think
it
so
because
too.
it could not be permitted at any of a number of different levels.
Yeah, okay.
So just leave it.
And then we start with in conclusion. Do we want to end with reaching this conclusion by
No.
not granting a letter of project
But in
eligibility?
conclusion, I think is brief and to the point.
Right, I'm just saying that we repeat conclusion again in the last sentence. Does
Are you
that,
convinced? Please.
Where do
Please
we
say-
repeat?
Where do we
Okay, fine.
repeat it? It's not there.
Yeah, it is. It's in conclusion at the beginning, and in the last sentence, the expense of reaching this conclusion.
by not granting, yeah.
Oh,
So we've got two conclusions.
So let's take out the time and, we'll leave in the time and expense of granting a letter of project eligibility.
The pellet, that's cheap. Demonstrating. Yeah, what do we do?
Mhm.
The result, rather than
Outcome,
conclusion, is
outcome.
outcome in the second, at the end.
Yeah.
Reaching this outcome.
Well, we've got the last word in the paragraph right before. Does it matter? Not that I'm just,
How about, well, result,
Decision.
Decision,
Decision.
decision, yes, I like
Mhm.
decision.
Decision. So please save all involved the time and expense of reaching this decision
Mhm.
by not granting, well,
Eventual decision, because that's what the time and expense
Mm-hmm.
is. It's
Mhm.
burning all of that
mhm,
for the next 2 years.
Mhm.
mhm.
Please save all of us the, all involved the time and expense of a long drawn out.
Yeah,
And-
or that's why I
Yeah.
thought eventual might capture that.
Mhm.
That's for protracted proceedings.
Yeah,
Yeah.
protracted has,
Of protracted proceedings, no, by refusing to
And then
grant.
Yeah,
mhm.
Mhm.
And Greg, letter of project eligibility or project eligibility letter.
So it is a PEL. That's what they call it.
Okay.
And capital.
Yes.
Yep. And then we should put all the enclosures.
What's that?
We should list the enclosures,
Mhm.
the different letters.
Should.
there are 5.
Aren't they listed on,
They're
Yeah.
listed on the version I've got.
they're listed on the version I have as well.
Yeah,
they
I
not
think
on-
All right. Which version is that? Oh, they are there.
Do you want me to
Wow.
read them? Eli?
Oh.
You got a copy paste there?
I got it.
Okay.
Good.
Oh, well done, you.
Mm.
A little scary.
Do you want to send a clean copy for a set of eyes to look over?
No, I want to finish our final review right now and
Okay.
wrap it up, print it.
Okay.
We're gonna look up town.
Mhm.
Yes.
Incidentally, your signature page is a standalone page. So
It
that,
is.
All right,
Speaking of widows and orphans,
Mm.
shift the font.
Fluffy
Shift the
white
font
sheep-
by 1.
White sheep in here somewhere. All right, let's go back and finish up the task of town. Town,
be good to get page numbers on them too.
page numbers on the letter.
Yeah.
Oh.
Mm.
page numbers on the right-hand side.
Thank you. It's good to me.
Bottom right.
Right. All right, back to
Good.
hunting for town. That one's okay.
That was lowercase, uppercase,
Yes,
lowercase.
because, or is it, it's a section of town. So that's, yeah. Outskirt of town, that's all right. With, yeah, the town capitalized, good.
Mm.
With our town, good. Section of town. The town. Part of town.
I'm not following what's capital and what's not here.
The town is as a legal entity versus the town as a geographical entity.
Okay.
So what about town drinking water? Is that Are you there?
Capitalized.
Yep.
Right?
That's an adjective. That's an adjective.
Oh, Greg, which one?
I would
I think
capitalize
below.
town and drinking water.
I would actually do apostrophe S on towns and leave drinking water alone.
Yeah, I wasn't going to capitalize drinking water.
Like this?
Yep.
Mhm.
And why don't you take out supplies?
Good.
Mhm.
I had missed this. The applicant and its team. Is the applicant a person or a?
Is,
Hmm.
His,
Well, SLV
Yeah,
isn't
yes.
it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I guess
just
we-
the applicant has no qualifications to apply, opine.
Fine.
Take out and its team.
All right, then that, yeah.
Fine.
Okay. Part of town, town zoned. Okay. Second town zone, capital. Yeah.
And then apostrophe between town and zoned.
No, it's a verb. Zoned is a verb in this case.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Right.
1 second.
Does your computer periodically just save the document?
It does, but actually, no, right now autosave is turned off on this one. So I'm just going to go ahead.
Yikes.
No, we're not going to mess with this right now. Nope, 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 nope.
Oh, we just keep saving.
Yeah. All right.
There's no more towns?
Oh, there's lots more towns. The town has recently, town on plans, the town, the town, the town, the town of, oop, the center of town. Yep, that's legit. The town, annual town meeting, in-town projects, the town, the towns, the town, the town, the town's sidewalk system, the town's
Oh,
traffic.
now we need capital
What? That has,
in the,
No,
yep,
next
drop
one.
there.
Next
the
one.
next
Town's
one.
water supply.
yes, that one needs it.
Both of them do, yeah.
Uh,
Oh,
yeah. Mm,
I,
No,
that's a toughie. Okay.
our community. Take out town and put in our community.
Right.
Changing the word to avoid deciding whether or not it needs to be capitalized.
Yep, okay,
That's good. Save.
all right.
Yeah. All right. So now let's deal with our orphan.
Well, before
So-
you deal with your orphan, if you clean out all of the track changes, and I think you can do that at this point by going to review
You would
Accept
accept
all.
all.
and accept all.
Where is it? Where is it? Accept.
Yep.
Down,
Accept. and then
down, down,
Accept all changes.
Click on that. Click
down
on that
click
arrow.
on the down arrow. There. Now let's see where that falls.
Same place. I kind of thought that would happen.
Okay, could we scroll up to the beginning? There's something that Word doesn't like.
Yeah, that's this thing right here, right?
Yeah, there shouldn't be a comma there.
Well, this
Just-
is a list from this point to this point to this point to this point, and there shouldn't be a comma here?
Right.
Right,
Because
because you got from to.
It's from two, and then you're adding on a bunch of other twos. If you take the comma out, I bet those double lines disappear.
Mhm.
All right.
Sorry.
Nope, that's okay.
I'm sorry, Ann. You really like that comma, I know.
Yeah. Oh, hey. Right, take it. All right, so now down and back to the orphan.
Okay, one of the things you can do is just increase the space between paragraphs.
Yeah,
Or you could increase the line spacing slightly.
slightly. I like that one. I know somebody
Yeah.
once wrote, was asked to increase the number of pages in the report, so he went into the middle of the report and because he had written it technically concise, and he wrote about 3 or 4 pages of sheep, fluffy white sheep. Back. Never heard anything about it. I don't think we can get away with that here.
No.
No, all right. So. That is.
What about the if and when? Doesn't like your if and when either.
Huh? Oh,
Hit ignore.
Yeah.
doesn't know what it's talking about. All right, back to the spacing. 1.15, how about that?
Mhm.
You have to do
Control A or Command A.
Command A.
Now, let's make sure it didn't wreck all of our indentation. Oh, it did a good job. Good boy. Hey, there we go. Cool.
And then accept all changes.
Yeah. We spelled
Doesn't
his
like
name-
mass housing either.
Yeah, it's not
Yeah,
gonna work. That's okay.
Is that accurate?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
what's this? Oh, it wants the comma not to be there. Oh, it's gonna complain to us about every single one as we go down the line.
Mhm.
So you have
Yeah, but
to
that's
ignore
a
every single
series.
one.
Oh, no, that's the same problem. It's from two.
Yep.
So take out the comma.
Well, No, it's not.
Sorry.
No, it's a series.
It's a
What?
series, just like the other one.
It's the same one.
It's-
It's a different kind of from. Yes.
All right, then you have to take out all the twos.
Nope.
What?
No,
No.
it's
Because then
happy.
it's due to runoff, an unidentified, vernal pools.
Can we
Water-
ignore it?
No. It's one thought. Water quality concerns due to runoff is one
Mhm.
thought. It's
The
then
quality concerns due to runoff, an unidentified on-site waste
No.
disposal.
water
No.
quality concerns due to runoff.
Then you'd have to put due to on each
Some-
construction.
I don't think so.
I'm not gonna say anything more.
I think at this point,
If you want to do the construct, you would keep doing from and tos.
Yeah,
So you need a series of from and tos. So from massive blasting to water quality concerns due to runoff from,
no.
oh, I see.
Okay. It's a series of,
Leave it, just leave it. It's
just
fine.
leave it.
It's not parallel construction, but that's okay.
Greg, is mass housing with no space the way that they see themselves? As opposed to mass, capital M, capital H, mass space housing?
I believe it's all one word. Yeah, it's mass housing as one word, no space, but the capital M and capital H,
Mm-hmm.
that's their convention.
Got it. Okay.
So one last little scroll through here. Oops. Hello. All right.
Wait a minute, could you go, it just looked like something funny where denial of a. I thought I saw something that looked funny where. Nope, never mind.
There should be a comma after Waltham, Mass. Oh, yeah, after Waltham. Lexington Woods versus Waltham, comma, the mass housing appeal.
Okay.
Hi, I'm sorry to come in without being invited. Are the numbers on the top intro matching the numbers that you have on the detail? Because there are, I thought 5 on the key aspects and there are 6?
No, there's
Or there's
there's 6 and 6 and
Are
6.
they all matching?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, okay, sorry. I
They,
missed that.
the titles don't have exactly the same wording, but
The topics are this matched.
Okay. And then the other thing I noticed at the beginning, there was a lot of concern about underlining particular things and that sort of fell off. I don't know if that
That
was.
That really
because-
applied to the just number 1.
Yeah, that applied to number 1, Sandy, because they were the actual sustainability provisions of mass housing.
Okay, I didn't know, because every once in a while there were other sustainable references, just checking. Thank you for all your efforts.
Well, I thank you to you and Helen and Sarah for sitting around through all of this. Watching paint dry is a lot more fun.
And Gail.
And Gail.
Mm.
Gail, we
Dale
thank-
especially.
we owe thanks to every time we meet.
But she also had the sense not to intrude her very good taste in our editing.
Yeah. And I don't know how the minutes are going to express when we actually delete things.
Yes, yes. We want a detailed accounting of all the additions and deletions, Gail.
All right. Are we good?
Yes, we are.
I think
Motion to
so.
adjourn.
Accept all changes and
Except
save.
Is it paginated?
It
Yes.
is.
Yes.
Excellent.
Yep. All right, it is 7 pages and I'm going to print it and sign it.
well
And then
done.
I'll send the soft copy back to Greg and the CC the board. And yeah,
Get it up when it's convenient on the website.
yeah. And now we have one other aspect to cover. So I'm gonna stop sharing this now. If I have to reshare it, I will. So only other aspect that we needed to talk about, I think, was we said that we were going to forward a copy of this to the MAB. And I sent you guys forwarded you guys an email on this. So are you okay with asking Greg to forward this to him with a request about whether or not he can provide an advisory opinion about the need for an accessible route?
Mhm.
Yes.
So moved.
ASAP. Yeah, second.
All right, so there was a motion that we asked Greg to forward this to the MAB. We'll endorse the MAB along with a request for an advisory opinion. Asking if accessibility to the public way would be required under 521 CMR 20, I think it is. And there was a second for it. Any discussion? All in favor, roll call vote. Mr. Round,
Yes.
Mr. Bob Turner. He's thinking. He's muted.
He's also muted.
Does this cost us anything?
Oh,
No?
No.
Yes.
Should
Thank
we
you.
put,
My vote is yes.
thank you. And Ms. Harrison,
yes,
Ms. Jakes,
Yes.
Mr. Bowling votes yes. All right.
Eli, you should take a vote to approve the letter.
Oh, that.
should,
I
should,
suppose that would be in order.
if we're going to copy it to someone, should we add that person to the CC list? Now that you've printed it and it's all done and perfect?
I haven't printed it yet. I suppose we probably should. Greg, got an opinion?
Yeah, no, I would. It'd be William Joyce, Executive Director of MAAB. MAD, I'm sorry. No, B, Board Director. Massachusetts Architectural Access Board, MAAB.
Is it sufficient to say MAAB?
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine.
So William Joyce, Executive Director, MAAB. Yes?
Yes, yes.
Double and triple check the spelling. Yes, I got it right. Okay. No, accept all the changes. All right, so I'll take a motion to approve the letter to Mass Housing, to Michael Busby at the Mass Housing regarding the sanctuary at Shingle Hill Sanctuary in Manchester-by-the-Sea, MHID number 1116.
So move to approve the letter.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor, Mr. Round,
Yes.
Mr. Bodmer Turner,
Yes.
Ms. Harrison,
Yes,
Ms. Jakes,
Yes.
Mr. Bowling votes yes. All right, I think we're done. Are we done?
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call vote, Mr. Round,
Yes.
Mr. Bodmer Turner,
Yes.
Ms. Harrison,
yes.
Jakes,
Yes.
Mr. Bowling votes yes. That was my last meeting as chair.
Thank
Well,
you
It's happy
very
dance
much,
time.
Eli, for doing
Thank
that.
you,
every-
Eli.
Thank you.
Yes. Yes, indeed.
So Eli, you'll sign and send me a PDF of that?
Yeah, is PDF okay, or you want the wet too?
A
The web-
PDF is okay. He said we can ship this all by PDF.
All right. Fair enough. I will get that to you immediately. All right, folks. I will see you guys later. Have an excellent rest of your week. Helen and Sarah, Gail didn't waste any time getting on out of here. Helen and Sarah, thank you for staying on. I don't know for sure if you're still awake. If there's a good chance that I would have fallen asleep. If not, thank you, and we will see you guys all later.